In a world where the it thing is always changing, sometimes you need a tour guide or two to help you find your way to pop culture's paradise. If you find yourself reminiscing or in need of a good recommendation, these two have you covered. And now, here's your hosts, Joey and Jeff.
Hey, welcome back to Pop Culture Paradise. My name is Joe, and as always,
It's Britney, bitch.
So, you've already given away what today's episode is.
My name is Jeff, and today, I'm excited to talk about Britney Spears.
And specifically, we're going to look at the first couple years of the Britney Spears phenomenon. We're going to look at why she became so popular, and why we still love her today, and why you should probably free Britney, right?
Absolutely, man. It's so crazy, everything happening with her right now. And we both kind of figured it would be a good change of pace to kind of get away from all the litigation and conservatorship and just all this wildness and just go back in time and talk about Britney just entering into all of our hearts.
And today you're going to see stuff that I wanted to go back and I wanted to see Britney before she got famous, before she got signed, in that sort of middle ground between the Mickey Mouse Club years and that first album, which was monster. It was huge. How big was it?
Man, it was like, it hit like a freaking hurricane. And it was so weird because this morning I actually texted you and I was watching a series on Netflix called This Is Pop. And they were doing this whole feature about Sweden and pop music and their influence in the States. And lo and freaking behold, it just goes down the whole list from producer to producer, act to act, and then boom, Britney Spears and Max Martin. And it was like, this is pop music. Like, this is the best stuff imaginable. It just really is. It's so good. It's so catchy. The melodies are unreal. And when her single Hit Me Baby One More Time hit, it was insanity.
Except Jeff is kind of a fraud. And why is he a fraud? Jeff, come clean to the audience.
I'll come clean right now. Growing up, it was always Team Britney or Team Christina. And I was always Team Christina. One, because she was blonde. And two, I thought because her music was better. Now, as I've grown up, I've started to realize, well, that was stupid. Why couldn't I just enjoy both of them? I had to always put down whatever Britney did, even if I actually enjoyed it, and just put over everything Christina did, even if I didn't enjoy it, because I had already picked sides and there was no going back from there, you know?
I think you were just trying to poke at me just because you came over to my house and you said, oh, look at all the Britney Spears posters on the wall.
What the hell was that?
Look at this poster up there. No, not that one. That one.
Oh, he loves Britney Spears. Oh, you know what? You know what I have to love? Christina Aguilera. Let's see how he feels about that. Which, you know, I mean, Dirty is a great pop song. Even if it had Genie in the Bottle. I mean, you had her best song, Come On Over.
Right. Dude, you just think about all the great music from just that time period. It still stands the test of time today because it's just timeless music. And we don't really get a lot of that anymore.
I guess maybe in 10, 20 years when they start doing that 2020 retrospective station or the 2010 music retrospective station, people will say, oh, they had some stuff that's always going to be iconic to them. But is it? I don't know.
We're going to find out, right?
Now, going through this, I totally remembered why I fell in love with Britney in the first place. And hopefully we do that job for you, the viewing audience, today. So the first thing that I remembered about Britney Spears was how much personality she had in interviews. Jeff, can you talk about what it was like to see early Britney Spears on TV?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you saw Britney on TV, any interviews she may have done, or even in magazines, it was always like a special occasion because everything wasn't as easily accessible as it is now. So whenever she did make those appearances, they felt way more special, and they felt larger than life. Britney had this just like Southern charm to her. She had this like very innocence about her, and gosh, she was just charming and charismatic, and that always came through in whatever she did.
So here's our first clip. It's from the very early Britney era. and she's at a German talk show, and the other guest there is Brandy. And I just said, this video compilation is Britney Spears, the shy girl. Like, she's just so nervous to be there, and you're rooting for her.
Oh, have I ever met a famous guy on the plane?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Nein, bisher noch nicht.
When I saw Whitney Houston at the AMAs, but of course I don't say anything because I'm like, oh goodness, she's right there. I'm like a starstruck person. I mean, what do you say? Oh, hi, I'm Britney. You know, so I didn't say anything, but I was just like, oh my goodness, she's right there. I've listened to her all my life, and so. It's kind of weird because I've never performed at a
That's a
award
cool
show
clip,
before,
man. And then you notice the iconic,
there's
just
gonna be
Rolling
stars here and
Stone
everything,
poster
and I'm
behind her, the cover.
Like, you're like, oh, I get tongue-tied. I get nervous, too. So she's so big to me, but she still gets nervous?
Yeah, it just made her a very relatable star. It kind of made you, want to choose her to be the one to root for because she kind of, felt just like a regular person like you or I.
Relating to Britney Spears, you've told me before, there's been certain celebrities that you've had to interview that you were just like, man, I hope I don't get tongue-tied around this person. And being in radio, obviously, there's going to be ones that we grew up listening to. And then there's just others that have reached a certain superstar status that you just, ooh, boy, I don't want to sound stupid in front of them.
Right.
Can you tell somebody that you may have had that with?
I remember specifically I got a text from my PD. It was like, hey, do you want to sit down and talk with Carly Rae Jepsen? And I mean, you and I are both huge fans of hers because we are a sucker for straight down the middle pop music, and that's exactly what she was. So I had all my stuff prepared, all my show prep, all my interview prep, and then I started saying the names of her songs wrong and just like messing everything up. So I literally stopped the whole interview, the whole taping, and I was like, I could have any other artist in here in the world and it's just work for me, but being able to meet you and being such a fan of what you do has me all screwed up. So can we just start over? And she was so sweet about it. She really was. And then I went and saw her show that night. Unreal show.
Did she perform her hit song, Call Me Sometime?
Yeah, she did so many, so many of them I hadn't even heard yet, but they were just so good live. She was just great. Another time that kind of happened for me, as you know, if you've listened to this podcast long enough, I have just a stutter like you wouldn't believe. I do my best trying to mask it, and it really came out while I was interviewing Alessia Cara in front of like 25 listeners. So we had a bunch of listeners of the station in a room, and I'm talking to her, chopping it up, and she's going to perform songs. And I'm just like, I just had to admit defeat. But on the flip side of that, I had interviewed Ed Sheeran, Dua Lipa, and even Ed. That was my first like high profile interview per se. So I tried to be really slow so I wouldn't stutter. So I was like, it came across as I was like too calm, and Dua, like her single New Rules just hit. So she was doing press and everything went great with her. And I've had other artists where it's like, oh, you probably would be a little nervous, but no, you just crush it. But sometimes I think it's just about what that person or artist or their music might mean to you. That's what can kind of make you have those like fanboy moments. It would probably happen for Britney if I were to, get the chance to chop it up with her.
Would it happen if you met Ricky Martin the same way it did for Britney?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Did you get to meet anyone you idolized? Anybody?
Yes, I did. Actually, I was laying out. I had like 1 hour off. So I go outside and I'm laying out. I'm just laying there. And Felicia, somebody had their foot on my layout table. I was like, Felicia, who's got their foot on my table?
Right.
And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, he should get his foot off, So
Yeah,
one of my
he
dancers
should.
comes up to me, TJ, and he's like, Britney, guess who's laying out beside you? I'm like, who? And he goes, that's Ricky Martin. I was like, you can put your foot there.
Did you talk to him?
No, I didn't. I was nervous.
Were you nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky Martin is rude.
Yeah, but that is just that's classic Britney right there. She's just adorable, wholesome, good old country girl, and I think that's what America really fell in love with at first.
So, as you mentioned, she grew up in Louisiana. So, you can see in every interview, there's a certain Southern charm. And, I mean, come on. Who isn't a sucker for a good Southern charm, right?
I mean, I've lived here in the South almost 4 years, and Gosh, I've really just encountered almost zero mean people. Everyone's just so kind and like, dude, here's an example of just real Southern hospitality. My first weekend down here, I somehow accept the gig to DJ downtown on Broadway, which is like the Vegas Strip with country boots and cowboy hats, okay? I decided I was going to drive myself down there. Mind you, I've had my license maybe for a year. I have to end up parking in a garage like 8 blocks away. I got to carry all my gear all the way downtown. And this just older Southern woman just says, "Excuse me, young man, do you need some help?" And I was like, no, I got it. Well, I was just trying to be like, oh, no, like, I got it. I was already late for the gig. And she goes, "You know what? Toss your stuff in my car." So she pulls her car out of the garage that she's paying for and drives me down to my gig like a mother dropping her kid off at school. And then I go, you know what? I think I'm going to like the South.
Where'd you grow up? You grew up in
New Orleans. Yeah.
In New Orleans. Okay.
New Orleans.
You say New Orleans or New Orleans?
I say New Orleans. I don't
Okay.
say New Orleans. I grew up in a small town in Louisiana, but now with my singing, I've gotten to travel all over the world and meet a lot of new people. And you know, the milkman still comes
That's
to
awesome.
the door.
Yeah, that's so
You
cool.
know, and I like the simplicity of that. I think that's very cool. I'm from Kentwood, Louisiana.
It just seems
How
like
young she
simpler,
is.
Really, really
yeah, like
small
simpler
town. There's probably
living,
1,200
simpler
people there. You
times.
have to travel 30 minutes just to get a Mickey D's. So
That's cool.
It's really small.
What's a Mickey D?
McDonald's.
What's a Mickey D? I like that.
Yeah. Who doesn't love McDonald's, you know? So it's an honor to be a part
Yeah.
of this.
Who doesn't love Pepsi either, Britney? You know what I mean?
Doesn't that feel like the every girl? Like, you know those things online where they're like, oh, certain girls will post a certain way so that they make them look like, oh, everybody wants to make her their girlfriend. That's what Britney is, right?
Yeah.
She's just like, I just love going to McDonald's. That's all I want to eat too.
What? Let's go together.
30 minutes away from a McDonald's growing up, though.
You know what? It's kind of, as I get older, I kind of want that. Like, I remember just a couple weeks ago, I was driving through Louisville, and it was just like, there just kind of wasn't really anything there until you got into, like, the downtown. But I'm like, man, I could totally see just, like, I don't know. As I get older, I want that simpler life. When you're younger, you don't want that. You want to experience the world and everything it has to offer. And even Britney at this young age is like, that's what she wants to do, but she's just kind of letting you know her family values, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and this next compilation is, you know, through all of this, so at the time period where she's getting big, we're 13, 14, 15, so we're like kind of growing up with her.
Right.
But you look at her as like, wow, she's so worldly and she's just a bit older and she's doing all this amazing stuff. But now looking back at it, you're like, oh my God, she really was just a kid. Like, this is a lot of pressure to put on somebody.
Oh, totally.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I'm in heaven. How cute is this? That's like, I look forward to just like going into the bed and watching movies. And I collect dolls
that's
too.
the best.
Mademoiselle dolls.
She collects
I
dolls.
collect those since I was a little girl.
Right?
I'm sure I'll get another one this year. So I
Yeah.
love those. Mama, look at the little bitty Look how small. These are the original ones. Oh, honey.
Could you imagine being in a toy store and all of a sudden there's Britney?
Let's focus.
Right?
So you don't want to rent a car in New York and do the
No, not
There's
New
Jeff.
York. Oh, I would just.
Oh,
I don't know
dude,
what I'd
hell
do.
no.
And I have a stuffed animal I bring with me. I have my journal that I write in every night, and you know, just all my fun.
She
sweats,
has
my
a
PJs,
diary,
and full
America.
clothes, and candles do too.
Get behind
Diary,
this girl.
stuffed
How that
animals.
homey feel, you
Right, dolls.
Fantastic.
know? Yeah, it was.
Americans, kindergarten graduation.
It was What Child Is This? It's a Christian song.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's a Christian song. Like, literally, there was no possible way that you could not like Britney Spears, right?
I mean, unless you're just some sort of jerk, or like, you remember at the time with TRL and all that stuff, there were factions as well. So you could be the no metal guy and like the, oh, Limp Bizkit, Chord, I like my music hard and rockin', or that party pop punk type thing going on.
Yeah.
Or since Eminem said that they were uncool, you could have been like, boy bands, boy girl groups? No, they're trash. Eminem said so.
Yeah.
Or you could just admit that's what you're into.
You know what's so interesting about that whole time frame is I was super into rap, I was super into pop, But as I like a lot of the stuff that I didn't even like listen to from that era, as I've gotten older, I've gone back and like had this whole just new level of appreciation for all of it and how great it was. Like some of the bands you would, pump all the time, and I just really wasn't into it. And now that I'm older, I'm like, dude, like this is great stuff.
So are you sitting there and your hatred of Sugar Ray has subsided into becoming like, yeah, that's the throwback jam?
Oh, dude, it wasn't just him. It was like you would listen to
Offspring.
Yeah, you'd listen to Offspring and just I don't know, all kinds of those kind of bands, and I was like, I don't really know, and I wouldn't give it the time of day. But now it's like just that whole kind of era of music is just, it's so great. It's kind of wild to even think about.
One day you're growing up somebody who doesn't want to hear Matchbox 20 played one more time on the radio or he's going to snap. And then the next thing you're driving your car on your way to work and you're like, it's 3 a.m. I must be alone again. And feeling like, I know this. I love this song.
Oh, totally. Yep.
Oh, God. I had that happen too when I'm like, yo, low key, am I like a Sarah McLachlan fan here?
You could be a lot worse things, right?
Pretty much. Here's an example of some more Southern charm. I mean, come on, it's Britney.
Oh, my lordy. Yes, I will be nervous tonight.
And good luck tonight. You're certainly the queen of tonight in my eyes.
Carson
Thank you so
Beckhoff.
much. Brittany, it's always a pleasure.
Gorgeous, lovely Miss Britney Spears.
Aw, so sweet.
Carson was laying it on, dude. What the heck?
She was just so humble.
Yeah, and he was, I don't know, he was kind of pervy. Can I say that?
Sure, why not?
I'm just seriously, go back. Just the tone of his voice. He's like looking her up and down. I was like, gosh, dude, Carson, what the?
Wasn't he with Tara Reid at that time, I think?
Yeah,
and that's why he's in the Josie and the Pussycats movie.
But who wasn't?
Tara, I don't vouch for his statement. But when you're speaking of morals, you got to remember what originally Britney Spears came in as. Because nowadays you think of her as that sex symbol and a whole bunch of different stuff that it later morphed into. But initially, it was like, oh my God, she really is just the girl next door, right?
Right, absolutely.
What would you not do?
Ja, was würde sie nicht machen? What would I not do?
Okay, if somebody offered you $1 million, what would you not do?
I guess, like, steal something or do something really bad.
Ich weiß nicht,
It's like, that's a stupid question.
Right? It kind of is a bad question.
No, I've never kissed a woman before.
Would you again?
Would I again? No.
Get out of
I would
here.
not do it. Oh, maybe with Madonna, but...
Tucker,
that's it.
Whoa.
are you asking the questions?
Yes, Madonna.
Right?
Can I try
Seeing it into
can I do one just
existence
for fun?
here.
I don't understand how you wear, like, they come all the way up to
They
here.
come up to, yeah, like-
So what do you wear here?
Well, a short dress or panties. We showed him with panties and a dress that matched over the top.
Oh, okay. Panties? You wear panties?
Creating a huge concert with thousands of people watching to get
Man,
to
she
know about
had
the drink
so
and
much
chamomile tea
press.
instead
It
of,
was
like, going to a
everywhere.
Big rock and roll party and being
So many
yeah.
featurettes, everything.
rock and roll parties to be a pop star.
Oh,
No, her
I
team
know
was
that
keeping
girl.
her. Yeah, that's Lynn, her assistant for the longest
Yep.
period of time, and she was on the documentary.
That's
being
right.
Like,
That's
she got
where I
cut
recognize
off.
her face. Yep.
And as you'll see as we go over this stuff, I was pulling clips because I'm like, all right, where do I start seeing signs of the things in the documentary where it's like overworking her, overdoing everything, having no personal life? Who are these people now in her life? So instead of being just a normal kid and going to school, she was touring the world, right? That's got to affect you, right?
Yeah, I mean, how can you get your, history, science, and math done when you're on TRL and you're on stage and you're touring the country? I would just assume she had some sort of tutor in her trailer or something.
Brittany, what were you like in junior high?
Well, I went to a normal school till like the 9th grade.
I wish you would have like screwed with that girl
I
and
was
just been
completely
like,
normal. I
"What do you
mean,
like?
I played basketball and I
Gangbanger."
just hung out with
Whoa.
my friends, did normal stuff. When I was like 14 and
No, like in a
13,
gang,
clothes really
not
started to
the other
Melissa
kind.
Joan Hart?
Whereas before that, I was kind of like a
yes, this
tomboy.
was
I was
the
just
best
like,
special.
whatever.
So Brittany played basketball. She only went to
Yeah,
school
my
until
cell phone
9th
bill is
grade.
so high.
And then
I'm
once she
always
hit
on the
9th
phone
grade, it
forever.
was music
Went with a
only.
stage where I
Huh?
would wear cut-off boots.
Yep, and she'd
And
show
we
up
just
wearing
and
cut
I
off
thought I was
boots,
the hottest
thinking
thing
she was the
alive.
coolest
No
thing.
one else was wearing that. Like, I thought it was just my own
Trendsetter.
thing.
Could you imagine just being like in school with Britney Spears and then you saw the Hit Me Baby One More Time being like, she never walked down our hall like that.
Right? She was always so quiet.
Every time I saw her, she was struggling, adjusting to the bag, head down, trying to make it to the next class in that small time window that we have.
Yep.
She never did that down the hallway. They were probably already used to it because where did Britney Spears come from?
The Mickey Mouse Club. Hit the footage.
When you were 9 years old, did you go around singing professionally then, or was it just like at school?
Well, I would sing like at competitions and like, you know, for functions. I'd be like the entertainment. And then the first thing I did was the Mickey Mouse Club. That's when I really realized I loved it.
That's so cool. I still have a dream at 35 years old of being a child star.
Look, I said no, okay? I wouldn't date you if you were the last boy on the planet.
Triggered. I've heard that way too many times.
So it's weird because it's like I didn't have any knowledge of the Mickey Mouse Club.
No, same.
So it always felt to me watching these these clips there, watching
yeah.
Wow, that's young.
less controversial, all
The
that.
casting director was like, you know, I think you should go to New York and experience stuff there. So I went to New York for like 2 years, and I did like an off-Broadway play and stuff like that.
And that was kind of a dope
and then
cast.
2 years later, I
Britney,
auditioned again
Christina,
for the Mickey Mouse Club,
JT.
and that's when I did that for like 2 years.
God,
And that's when
yeah.
I got like all my experience with singing.
Even Ryan
and stuff.
Gosling.
Let's talk
Just
about
talent.
the Mickey Mouse Club, where you got your start, which is turning out to be this great training ground, right, for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have come out of there. Like
I think you also need to
Christina
know there
Aguilera
too is
and
the
NSYNC,
reason
Justin and JC
us
and
boys loved her. Look at those legs and all these clips.
We really, really close, and it's
Conan
cool, like,
Conan
that,
did
you
have
know,
great
after the award
legs.
shows and stuff, we try to
That's
hook
true.
up and hang out and stuff.
How old were you when you got started with
I was like 11 and 12 when I did
11?
that. Yeah.
So it's weird. You'd be
Jeez.
seeing Disney World from a completely different
She
perspective.
was more accomplished than we are now.
I know, dude. What talent did we have at 12 years old? Tell me.
You'd go to the park,
We were
but what do
playing
you think?
action
I mean, I would
figures.
think
We had bowl
backstage
cuts.
would
That's
be
the only thing we had
frightening.
going
You'd see,
for
you know,
us.
The people with their heads up, yeah.
You'd be like,
It was so hot.
How do you think your fans who followed you from your days in the
Wait, what? Wait, is that who I think it
up
is?
till now,
Yes.
are they happy
What the
with
heck?
the change in your image?
Honestly, it's about me just performing and expressing myself, and I think when someone sees you up on stage having fun and you're fulfilling your dream, they're inspired by that, and that's what matters.
You know what? One of the things that made Britney Spears so special is she felt very approachable, but she was untouchable. Because you got to think back in the late 90s, early 2Ks, you didn't have access to any of these artists or their thoughts at any given time of the day. Like, that's what just kind of made the mystique even more.
You listen to her, and also she doesn't say anything that turns you off from her. And so many people like that today, you get rubbed the wrong way. Every time she's on, you're just like, please keep her on. She's very refreshing. She's a positive force to have around, and she's, I think, to a lot of girls, was like that big sister.
Yeah.
So when you watched her, you watched all these people. I want to know her dance moves, which my sister did at a talent show.
That's right.
crazy-
I remember. Drive Me Crazy. She had the green top and the big hair. It was cool.
Oh yeah, so her and her 4 friends there all learned that dance routine there, and my mom had to make the costume from the crazy music video.
That's so cool.
So Britney had certain characteristics when she did interviews, and I think this made her even more relatable. I called this the adorable spaz supercut, where, you know, she didn't just give wooden answers. She had like quirks and tics and certain ways of breaking into an impression or getting overly enthusiastic. And to me, I'm like, well, I'm like that too. And she's famous and she's her. So it's cool that I do it as well.
Yeah, it is cool because she never like took herself too seriously. She was always just Britney.
I'm dancing.
Are you kicking?
I would watch that whole feature, her and Melissa Joan Hart.
There we
It's
go.
amazing.
Andrew, that's conclusive.
If they have a problem with that, then, you know, what can I do? You can't. And I had my shoes off.
Well,
just
yeah,
like
what
a
can you
total
do?
dork, you know,
Like a regular person.
Oh, yeah, you know. Oh my God.
Neil.
Oh, I still have a curfew.
Oh, you still do now?
Yeah.
She has a curfew still. Come on now.
It's so great, those facial expressions there too.
Yeah.
Because she's hot, and you can come out and say that, but at the same time, there's the other girls of that era, like, this wasn't something you'd see Christina doing, or Jessica Simpson, or Mandy Moore doing.
No, I mean, Britney she just seemed like she was your friend, but she happened to be famous.
And honestly, I think she was legit funny. Like the kind of witty interview or that like, all right, she said something and I'm not laughing because she's her and I want to make the interview smooth. I would legit laugh.
How can I put it? She definitely knows how to turn it on for the camera, but at the same token, she can stay authentic to who she is, and that's just her goofy, fun self. You know what I mean?
I hate it when movie stars or celebrities like talk about how hard their life is and da-da-da-da-da because I'm so happy.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, get over it. You signed up for this.
Oh, wait, who is that?
Flying Elvis?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, look out.
CNN all the time.
Do you watch a lot of CNN?
All the time.
No.
I like you, Britney.
You know?
Come on.
I just can't see. Yo, I feel like I can't even stop. I'm so excited.
I'm in too deep.
I know NSYNC or Eminem or one, or Christina is definitely gonna get.
It's cool when I go overseas. I can kind of escape a little bit.
Yeah, she can kind of hide out.
What's the coolest
This is
thing
what we're
about
gonna
being
do.
fans?
Well, I love clothes and food, so probably getting free clothes and food.
Nothing wrong
But
with
you
that.
can't leave the white line showing.
I'm still after free clothes and food.
Girls, if you want big lips, take that advice because it works.
Get nervous with it because there's like 900 million viewers.
Don't tell me that. I'm nervous now.
Oh,
Why
don't
you
blame
tell
me.
that?
900 million viewers. All right, let's just put this into context right here. Do you happen to have on hand how many albums Britney sold?
Let us look that up here.
Because if you can find that out, I want you to pop that on the screen. And I kind of want to bring it into context. Like, today's music is obviously, it's all streaming, right? We have access to every song we want at any time of the day. And it's like, as great as it is for an artist to get millions of streams, like, that's a great accomplishment. But at the end of the day, didn't just millions of people listen to your song for free? When
All right, you want to
in
make a
Britney's
guess?
peak, she went out and like her fans had to get in the car, go to the record store, and they had to buy her CD. They had to put in all that effort rather than just open up Apple Music or Spotify.
So there was this girl who went to school with my sister in elementary, and my sister was sort of like in that queen bee in elementary school. And this girl, to make friends with her, legit bought her Britney's second album to buy her friendship.
And that would have worked for me. I'll tell you what.
I mean, I wasn't like, oh man, that's poor character. I was like, dude, how'd you pull that off? I was impressed.
Right. So as far as the guess, I got to say it's got to be like 100 million.
First album, 25 million.
For just the first one?
Yes.
Golly, dude.
100 million overall. Oops, I Did It Again, 20 million. Britney, 9 million. I mean, we're getting into the age of streaming, stealing, pirating,
right,
and all this other stuff.
Think about just those first two, right? 20 million people, including the girl that bought your sister's friendship, got in the car or hopped on the bus, which I've done in the past to go pick up a new CD, and went to the store and spent their money, and it was probably like 16, 17, 18 bucks for a CD. Like, talk about influence.
Well, you people were suckers. You should have gone to a store that we had called
Strawberries.
No, Strawberries would have charged you a ton of money.
Newberry Comics.
Newberry Comics was where you could get everything, 12, 13,
yep,
and as low as $9.99.
Yep. But just, I'm trying to just paint the picture of how big this is and how influential Britney was for all those fans. It's just we're talking those first two albums, to put in all that effort and spend their hard-earned money to buy the song, buy the album, rather than listening to it for free. I just think that her influence is just so much grander than any artist that we have today. Am I wrong?
No, and I think the problem is that now that everyone has access, no one's as special, and that kind of creates that void where there's no megastars moving that kind of merchandise.
No.
So then these big album releases, they don't feel as special. And even for super artists, like, I was super hyped about John Mayer, who sells out freaking arenas dropping his new album. But you know what? there's the video, there's the fans, everyone getting excited, but then it just comes out. Then it's out in the world, but there's no like, oh my God, this is iconic right now. It has to develop its icon status later.
Totally. And we're not even talking about Britney's like on stage stuff yet. And I think that could be the one area where artists today have almost as big of a influence now is their concert sales, right? And their tours.
Well, they get a bigger reach that they can hold on to for a while.
Yep.
Because I remember hearing an interview with, saying his name kind of is ruined now, but I was doing my Drake and Josh history video.
Yep.
And Drake Bell was talking about how if he just missed Twitter in the time frame where him and Josh probably would have had millions of followers just by being on a massive show,
which is kind of cool.
And now you have to build up that audience to follow you, as opposed to then where it's like they'll find you, but they're not going to do it as easily.
Yeah.
So, Britney had all these followers when it was a lot harder. You kind of wonder what was happening before Baby One More Time got released. Like, there had to have been some sort of groundswell that everybody started to know about her, right?
Well, we learned about the Mickey Mouse Club, right? And then from there, there's like, I don't know how many years in between before it was like, boom, Britney is on the scene.
From my research, it appeared to be like a 2.5 year window where the last episode of the Mickey Mouse Club is in the can. She went back to school. She's doing that thing where she's playing basketball. And as we find out in this clip, then things start happening as pop music takes off, and she gets introduced to who again?
Max Martin.
Max Martin.
I've always had an interest, in singing since I was really young. Listening to the radio, I'm really influenced by Mariah Carey. I love her melodies. She's a great songwriter. Whitney Houston, of course. And I like real old bluesy music too. Real soulful music, like down in New Orleans where I'm from.
Before it became EDM pop.
Right.
Sent me to New York when I was 15 at the time. And I was so nervous, and I got up in front of, a bunch of his executives at Jive. And
Dude, I would have been crapping my pants.
Jive Records. Somebody told me you auditioned for them. You had to audition for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
She just made it seem like it was so easy. I just sang for them and they signed me.
What's not sad? You got the deal.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I was
Look at all that hair.
I'm used to performing in front of like a lot of people, but it's like these 10 people just sitting there looking at me. So.
But that's the way you got to do it. I mean, Larry Rudolph would not steer you wrong.
So it must have been around this time where she gets the deal with Jive before Baby One More Time. There's Max Martin, that long-haired dude. I remember him from the doc I just watched. So she signs the deal with Jive before Baby One More Time. Is that when she starts doing malls everywhere?
Well, so what she did, and I found, was this concert over in the Philippines to showcase her talent and to start building up why they should push her as the main act.
Right.
And it was so weird seeing this footage.
No, it is, because this is one of like the biggest pop songs ever, and she's playing it in front of nobody. It's so cool.
Like, it almost feels like mall karaoke.
Yeah. And like this song again was a hit as well. So it's so crazy to see her just performing it for nobody right here.
Catching the melody.
And then you take into the element of her live performance and then her music videos as well. Just how great they were and how much time and effort were put into all of them.
And then if the artist can take that to another level, that's the perfect thing. That's the perfect situation.
It's so strange, too, when you watch that clip. She's just like, I don't know what to do. Can the guy who actually knows what's happening please explain?
Right.
I'm so lost right now. I'm so kind of scared.
7-Eleven and just start singing?
No, they would usually have fashion shows, and I was the
Not exactly.
Before the show.
I mean, it almost looked like she was at a fashion show, right?
No, those clips definitely did. It was almost like, all right, and now we're going to take a break in between designers, and right now, for your entertainment, here's Britney Jean Spears.
Who's Britney Jean Spears? I don't know. Is she like the cousin's daughter or something of the person putting together the fashion show? I don't know. She has songs. She wants to be a pop star.
Right. So they're like, but now think about it. Those people that got to see her, and then what? Not even a year later, they're buying tickets to her show, and now they're able to say, I saw her back when she was playing strip malls and fashion shows. I don't know. Stuff like that it just fascinates me. It really does.
Well, it's like you were interviewing Dua Lipa right as New Rules is breaking, and now I just saw she has 66 million Twitter followers.
Yeah,
So-
she doesn't do press anymore. You usually catch artists on their way up or on their way down. And she's not coming down anytime soon because Future Nostalgia, that whole album is just classic. So good.
So the next thing you have to do is get yourself promoted. And you don't have your album, you got to be on a thing that's like a sample platter. You hand it out and say, hey, person, I got one. It was like a mini disc from a Sbarro's once. It was like, you might enjoy these 7 chosen bands. Take a listen to the song
Hot
that they've
music
submitted.
CD, 7 great songs, Sunglass Hut.
That's where all the hit songs get exposed, right?
Absolutely. That's where all the artists get broke, right at Sunglass Hut.
And then I find this like a draft class almost, right? So you
Right.
start thinking like 1998, who came out? Who got big? Oh, Britney Spears. Well, who else were they pushing? Jars of Clay.
Huh?
Oh, you remember that hit song by Mark Dorsey?
No.
Tribe Called Quest? Yeah, I know Tribe Called
I know
Quest.
Tribe. Yeah, hell yeah.
Imagine... no.
Dragons?
No, this was with a J. So then you got to have the swag to give to people. This is a nice backpack.
Okay,
featuring...
that's kind of dope.
Yeah, I mean, it'll let people know about that new singer, Britney Spears, with her new album this fall.
Well, it's like we'll give you a backpack and we're going to slide this insert inside the clear backpack so you have to see it.
And in case you didn't have a CD player, we still had cassettes.
Dude, that's so cool. I don't even care if it makes us seem old. I just remember like I don't remember cassettes so much because they were around when I was really little. My first ever cassette was Crisscross, Totally Crossed Out.
Mine was Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack.
It's because we're freaking awesome. And then there was all right, tell me if I'm crazy or wrong, but there was something cooler about owning the actual physical copy and looking through the book at the pictures and the lyrics and who wrote who helped write the song and who did this and who did that and the thank you page and just how everything was laid out and presented.
And to be fair, I got to give even the people older than us, when they're like CDs, we had records and they were even bigger pieces of art and had all this stuff that you could look at. And I'm like, ooh, you do have us there. I don't know about the
It's cool.
accessibility of that stuff.
Right.
But when you pay for something, the more stuff they gave you, it was like, all right, I'm getting my money's worth out of this.
Yeah, it's like any, Blu-ray set that I buy or, DVD set even. I love for there to be some sort of like literature, whether it's a book or a pamphlet or just like, pages of artwork. I don't know. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, like special presentation, I guess.
All right, can I point out the other band on here? Imagine. Do they look like overgrown 9th grade boys?
Dude, all I know is the overalls were in, and I wish that I could pull those off today. That's what I'll say about that. But this is so cool to me. It's like there's Britney before everybody in the world knew who she was. And she's just on this like demo that people are just pushing around. That's wild to me, dude.
And then you also have the first Baby One More Time record.
Dude, imagine getting your hands on that now. What would that go for? Golly.
Now, when you think of girl singers, who was out before Britney Spears? Like, who would she probably model herself after?
Geez. Well, she already said Mariah Carey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Christina was just about at the same time. Jessica Simpson maybe a little bit after. Mandy Moore as well. But before her, you had like what? Brandy, you had Monica, you had Mariah.
Even before that, like, all right, if everybody was comparing Backstreet Boys and NSYNC to New Kids on the Block,
Oh,
Who would you
Paula.
compare Britney to?
Paula Abdul.
And the original mall girl, Tiffany.
Really?
You gotta hit the mall, right? That's where you become big.
No, dude, I like remember when we were younger, some acts would come through the mall, but never like this. Everybody is losing their minds right now. She's doing outfit changes at the mall.
And this would be a stripped down concert this time in Britney's career.
There's no, crazy light show and smoke and 20 backup dancers. It's just two dudes with her.
I'm Britney Spears, and I'm so happy to be here today in Toronto.
Get out of the way.
Dude, get out of here.
What I'm gonna do is a song that all of us girls can relate to because it's about you guys.
I'm glad he moved that chair just a little bit more to the middle. That's a great song.
Which one is this?
Born to Make You Happy.
Right, okay, I thought so. There it is. Dude, listen to that pop.
Could you imagine just being in the mall trying to get your regular shopping done and you don't care about Britney?
Yeah, like I came here to get a t-shirt and some Panda Express, and this girl, it's pandemonium at the mall. I don't know.
I wonder if she had gotten so big at that point that you have to start blocking off exits and like nobody's able to come down the escalator or anything.
Dude, I wonder because it was loud. Loud. Those pops were crazy.
So at this point, we know Baby One More Time is a hit. That's where I remember jumping on the Britney bandwagon. It was all over MTV. So you're listening to this song, and it's not written by Britney. It was actually written by Max Martin, and it was supposed to be a TLC song. The reason she says "babin" and "hit me" is because Max Martin thought "hit me" was slang for "call me back."
No, it was like phone. So as I told you, I was watching This Is Pop, and it was supposed to be "Hit Me Baby" on the phone one more time, but phone didn't fit within the melody of the song, so they dropped that. But the label then, was it Jive?
Yes.
They thought that was too controversial. So they got rid of the "hit me" completely when they just, released the song and the title, and it was just ... baby one more time.
The label really did a lot of influencing to these acts. Now, remember when you were like, oh man, I'd be so nervous to audition in front of Jive?
Right.
There's a show that I reviewed on my channel called Operation or Mission Man Band, which is strange. I've already kind of forgotten the title, even though I did the episode.
It's a sweet name,
But
Mission Man Band.
they took a bunch of these old boy band guys and decided, could they form a supergroup and make a hit song, get signed by a label, go on tour and recapture their old magic? So it has Jeff from 98 Degrees, Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC, one of the Backstreet Boys, I believe, and then the guy from Color Me Bad.
Right.
And they're performing and doing these things, and they have to go to Jive to do their new song and then get honest feedback.
Yep.
And the guy from Jive hears the song, he's like, yeah, that was pretty good. And he knows like NSYNC and 98 Degrees from way back. And he's like, Chris, you're getting fat. Jeff, you were out of time and you didn't have any charisma performing. You guys can do better. And you can just see them, even as like guys who've made it. They were crushed.
Yeah. Dude, that's tough.
So this is Britney Spears as Baby One More Time begins to take off and become, well, a legendary song.
Dude, it debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
I think so. I mean, there was a period where R&B music and rock music was really, really strong, and then all of a sudden pop music just comes, like it's full force. Like with the Backstreet Boys, it started to come back, and all these kids, like they have an ear for it. You want to hear it. It puts you in a good mood, and
it does.
You know, I'm just happy that I'm able to do that.
Hi, I'm Britney Spears. Check out my new album at all Target stores.
Oh,
Thanks.
Gotta buy that Britney album. Gotta get the Britney magazine.
Dude. Man, I remember when magazines were such a huge deal, man.
Well,
They were awesome.
Bar at Slimey's, right?
Huh?
Phonographic.
Okay, dude, you would have fainted. Be real.
Have a nice day.
He doesn't even know it's Britney.
Teen People, featuring Britney Spears.
He looks like Jason Biggs.
Yeah.
This single just went platinum today. Do you know that? I'm serious.
I didn't know you get roses when you have a hit album.
Did it go platinum? that it is
From
out
Howie
there,
Mandel.
the number one song in the country right now.
Really?
I wouldn't lie to you. Why would I lie to you? You think I'm lying? You get Larry Rudolph on the phone right now. He'll tell you I'm telling the truth. How does that
Like
feel?
she doesn't know.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so excited.
See, that's a pro when you can be like, yeah, I know. Everybody's already sent me messages this morning. Oh, now I'm just finding out on freaking Howie Mandel's talk show? I didn't even know Howie Mandel had a talk show.
You broke the news to me, bro.
Could have been better. He could have broken to the news in his Bobby voice.
That would have been kind of cool.
Britney, you have the #1 album in the country. I was at the bottom of the pool.
I was hoping you would go into that song. I didn't know how long. That's a great track, dude.
If she was like, oh my God, you're Britney Spears. And she has this look like, I kind of was like, if that was 4 years later, it's Britney, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
But not that time. Not with this bootleg dude you're getting Adele knockoff.
No, and you know what's cool? At the opening of the show, we talked about how I was so pro Christina that I kind of just ignored this stuff, or I wouldn't admit that I enjoyed it. Once Britney got to the Blackout album, all bets were off. Like, I wasn't hiding anything anymore. I loved all of that stuff. It was just, dude, like, still to this day, I can listen to the whole thing front to back.
He's not lying. We did 2 rap remixes to the singles off that album.
We did.
Now, at a certain point, you get so big. Where do they have you perform?
Disney World.
That's right. Britney Spears is back at Disney. And honestly, if I was at the park, I would have stopped going on rides and been like, her. I want to see her.
Dude, remember when were you there when Brooke Hogan was at Funtown?
I missed it.
That was cool. Funtown was like Saco Maine's Disney World.
You're really overselling it.
I am.
Oh, she's doubled in dancers. I like the mom in the background.
And dude, she's performing at the castle. How cool is that?
Now she's in that weird zone where, like, you're still performing in front of casuals.
Yep.
Because, like, right now, there's people pushing around a stroller like, oh, wow, that's the music that always plays in the park. And it's not like, oh, this is a major special happening right now.
Yeah, I think the point you're trying to make is people didn't pay to come see her. They're just, patrons at the park, and she happened to be performing there.
Now, going through this, I found some facts out about Baby One More Time that I just had to laugh about because in this day and age, vernacular has changed. And, like, you know the term Chad, right?
A Chad, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's the alpha guy.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Chad in the Baby One More Time video. That guy's name is Chad.
No,
Britney
but it's
is
not.
Looking to be called back one more time by a Chad.
Oh, no. Say it isn't so, Britney.
But it's also her cousin.
Oh, gosh.
Well, the song is basically about a girl who breaks up with her boyfriend. And
This
she
has been Pop
regrets it.
Culture
She
Paradise
regrets it
for
and she
Joe.
wants him back. So that's what the song's basically about.
What are you going for? What do you want people to see you?
Dude, I just remember how cool this music video
I have
was.
like this pink top on and these white pants, and then I have overalls on. I get really comfortable when I sing my slow song.
But actually, Chad, the
Dude, I gotta think, Crazy might be my favorite track from her.
Yeah. He's my cousin.
I have like this little
Oh,
pink
gosh.
dress on that kind of, goes with Madonna, and then I have like this black fitted thing that,
Oh, there's
represents
acting.
Janet or whatever. And then at the very end, I of course wear the baby outfit, and it's just kind of glammed
Dude,
up
she
a
was the
little bit.
queen of the outfit change. They would just be so quick.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to talk iconic outfits? This one right here.
You want to talk driving teen boys crazy. That,
Jeez.
like, you looked at all that stuff, and she's talking about super outfits, and I'm like, oh my God, what is she? She is rocking some looks right now.
Right.
And then you couldn't escape her. She was everywhere. She was on that one channel we've done a few shows about. The one that used to play music?
MTV? TRL?
That one.
And she was all over the radio. She was all over the road, all over magazines, just TV, everything, dude.
It's great. And
So Britney's such a pain in the...
The early show.
I take back all those nice things you said about her.
Oh, hey.
Never.
That's pretty good right there.
Never.
Chris
Why would
Kirkpatrick,
we
that
do
dude
that?
lives here in Nashville.
Yeah? Is he your pal? Can he be?
I know. I've never met him. He's pals with my boss.
tell him we want to do an NSYNC episode and we want to ask him questions.
Right.
So when you were saying, man, I would watch a Melissa Joan Hart and Britney special, there's one that they had to have been filming when they were promoting that movie, You Drive Me Crazy, with Melissa Joan Hart, where Crazy is used in the song, and Melissa Joan Hart is in the Crazy music video, and then...
How great is that video, though?
It's great. And I saw that movie in theaters, too, so clearly all this advertising worked on me.
I bow to you, sir.
And then, of course, Britney Spears shows up on an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So if we were still going by our TGF universe theory, Britney's a part of everything as well. Click on that link. We're referencing a lot of backlog right now.
No, she is not.
Yeah, she's in the same universe as Urkel, Migos, and Step by Step, and the Code Man.
And Jesse Spano.
And no, not Jesse Spano. But being this famous and always on MTV allows you to have little one-off specials, like this one hosted by Melissa Joan Hart and Britney Spears, which to me is like, hey, you know those two girls you have a massive crush on TV? Together. They're together right now.
They're going to be on the same show together.
Hey everybody, I'm Britney Spears.
And I'm Melissa Joan Hart, and for the next half hour, Britney and I will join forces to save a male fashion victim from hurting himself and others with his bad taste.
I still can't explain it to this day, but Melissa Joan Hart follows me on Twitter, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that we're going to be making him over.
When are you going to meet Salem?
I hope to sometime soon.
So then she'd also do Disney specials.
Yeah.
Now it's time to really get serious. Number 7 on our list of things to do this summer.
Number 7.
Oh, now, this is a good one. Go shopping. Try to keep up, okay?
What are the odds of getting dinged by a baseball at a major league game?
Oh,
is it
there
A,
you go.
1 in 30,000? B,
Why is Britney
1 in
Spears talking about getting
300,000,
beamed with a
or
baseball?
C,
I don't
1 in
know.
3 million?
Just have her ask
Not even
questions.
close. The answer is B, 1 in 300,000.
The
B.
3 artists nominated for favorite pop rock band, duo, or
Take it to the
group
bank.
all went multi-platinum last year.
Between them, they sold over 25
Imagine.
million records. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm imagining.
No,
So
imagine. The group.
Not them.
Backstreet Boys.
They're so memorable that I've already forgotten about them. But God, like, you would just tune into the TV, and there she was, but you'd watch because she's kind of a natural host, right?
No, she is. She has so much charm, so much charisma. She just, I don't know, man, just watching her personality, everything is just infectious.
At a certain point, I got secondhand embarrassed for what this special was about. Now, Melissa Joan Hart and Britney Spears were going to do a favor to a certain male who just wasn't a hit with the ladies, and they were going to make him over. So at this point, MTV puts together what I would say is an embarrassing montage of the people trying to say why they're the biggest loser.
Oh, God.
I wouldn't want to be on this list, but I kind of want to cap it and share it with the world.
I want to be a really bad dude, but it doesn't work.
In 3 words or less, why are you so pathetic?
I don't have a job. Can't get a date.
All right.
I'm hopeless. I have no life. I'm pathetic.
Seem to get picked up more by
Wrestling
gay guys.
action figures.
I'm kind of ugly. The girl I love, Candace, she doesn't know I exist.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Why does he have a picture of Candace that he walks around with?
Yeah, I can't explain that one.
Is that the Star Wars kid?
Oh, God. Great song choice for this bit, right?
I've been in love with her for about 4 years. She told me, flat out said that she wouldn't lower her standards.
Does she know you're in love with her?
She wouldn't lower her standards.
Come on.
So how big a loser do you have to be to have lost that competition?
Let's get rid of this first. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. All right.
I'm ready to get rid of these too. Let's do
Your
something.
Wranglers?
I'm excited.
Dude, I wish they would make me over.
Yeah, you're a nice guy. That's the base of it, right there. That's where it
He
all
doesn't
starts.
seem like a loser. He just seems like a cowboy.
Britney Spears cutting hair on MTV. Her
Okay,
new
here we go.
second professor.
Yeah,
Oh my
I mean,
God.
to be
Go,
fair, this guy's not that
We have a new
big of a
future.
loser to work around with. Like, he need a little haircut, some confidence boosting, and better clothes. Some
They're
of those other
cutting his
guys.
hair. Britney's cutting his hair.
We've seen Trevor go
Male boy
from
to stud
total
boy.
male boy to stud boy. He looks
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if Emily doesn't
Male
take
boy to
this,
stud
I'm gonna
boy.
have to.
Yeah, we're
He
gonna fight
looks
over
hot.
him.
How long do you think he held on to that?
Oh, and
if Emily
and-
doesn't take it, Britney will. Yo, Britney said, if this doesn't
Yeah.
work out, she's taking me.
Yeah, Britney, I got home and she wasn't about it. So what's up?
He went back to male boy.
No, dude, he did immediately once he got back home.
I'm a loser. I can't get a date. This girl I'm in love with? All right, why did you bring that with you?
You know, my lady would probably like if I carried around her picture, to be honest.
This is her Instagram. This is all right. Stop, buddy. Put it away. And then when somebody gets that famous, what do they do? Like, what's the first thing you start seeing them do?
Dude, I don't know.
Well, they got to sell stuff, right?
Shilling merch?
Right. You got to start getting your stuff out there. And I remember, oh my God, you ever wonder about little girls and preteen girls? You ever go into an Icings or a Claire's or any of those places back then?
Yeah, I got my ears pierced there.
You see how much?
Maybe I should be on the show as the biggest loser for that.
Yeah. Well, at least you weren't like looting cheap items in their clearance bins. I remember how picked over and like you'd see bags of stuff already opened up and buried under other things. And you'd be like, are you going to the store to steal Britney Spears pencil cases? What is happening? Who are these girls? The iZone Polaroid.
Oh, get out of here. What is that?
That looks like the type of phone that you can like drop in the water and it wouldn't get wet back in the day.
Dude, that is your poster.
So this is one of the posters I had in the room.
Yeah.
And I looked up on eBay and the prices wildly fluctuated, but some were selling for $150 still in wrapping.
Yikes.
So I had this one.
I distinctly remember that one.
And that one.
Yep, I remember. Yep, on the truck. I remember that one too.
And I had this. You could win these at carnival games.
Yeah, you would win those at Funtown playing that bowling game where you rolled the ball up and made sure it didn't roll back. I guarantee you that's where you got that.
These would have been one of these traveling carnivals. But you know what? These window pane prizes. I don't have an issue with them. I think they were cool and like, all right, you probably spent way too much money compared to what it cost to make. But in terms of prizes, I didn't mind leaving with these ones. Like I have an Eminem one still, an NSYNC one.
But you
some
won
wrestling
it. It made it cool, yeah.
And it's like, well, I can't buy a full-size poster, but I got a little small one, and then it had the little plastic casing that was kind of glass-esque.
Maybe.
Then the knockoff Beanie Babies, where it's like, it's just a bear with a Britney Spears saying on it.
Right. I have a Mankind one of those. It's just a bear that is wearing Mankind's shirt and tie.
This is one of Britney Spears' first tour shirts.
Dude, they have that, I think, that same picture and text for sale still, but it doesn't have the tour on it, the date. Because trust me, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get this one again at Old Navy, so I started looking at Kohl's, I started looking at Target, started looking at PacSun, everywhere.
And then, to keep people reading at a Scholastic book fair, everyone talks about the Garfield books or like Goosebumps or things like that you remember. But you remember they also had a lot of unauthorized autobiographies. You want to learn about Britney? Well, someone's done the job for you.
So she probably had no idea these were even being made. They were just like guerrilla style.
Got to cash in. Then, of course, you have your mini Britney doll.
Dude.
Your big Britney doll.
That first one, that was from the Crazy video, right?
Yep. You got some magnets.
You had that poster.
I did have that poster.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the game that Jeff and I would have epic battles on. And
yeah,
I wonder if we're alone in this, but boy, we got pretty intense with this game.
Britney has been working really hard lately. She's showing up to concerts 3 or 4 hours.
She's a gamer girl.
I think she's preparing for the show.
She's an e-girl?
No, she's a gamer girl. Not an e-girl.
Never before seen tour footage. Britney's
Look at her rock that PS2 controller.
Once you get started, you'll never want to stop.
You just gotta admire that
Dude,
kind of
this game was serious bragging rights.
Rated E for
everyone. Yeah, triangle, square, square, square. You're just like, gotta know, gotta stay connected.
Yeah, friendships were tested on those nights.
And I think you won more of the battles than I did, and I was so mad because you're crushing me on like these iconic songs, and I'm like, I know every lyric and every word to these jams right now.
Right.
You can't have better rhythm than me on this. But the worst thing is, these weren't dance pad games.
No.
Wouldn't you think these should be dance pad games?
Oh, if there was like a Britney Spears DDR game, forget about it. It's like Aerosmith had their
Jackson
own
one.
Right, Aerosmith had their own Guitar Hero game. Why can't Britney have her own DDR game? Like, those are iconic dance moves. And think of just how many different sets of choreography she has.
You know, Just Dance keeps putting out new editions. Maybe they're like, they should make Just Dance Britney Spears edition.
Just Dance Free Britney edition.
Ooh, all proceeds going to Free Britney. Everyone, hashtag that, okay?
Ooh.
Like Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair, you also got to sell...
Wait, did you just compare Britney Spears to Hulk Hogan and the Nature Boy?
You damn
Please
right
explain.
I did.
Please explain.
Well, you don't just shill popular stuff. Like, well, actually, you know what? Hogan in that episode had his own video game that he had to shill in a commercial.
Yep.
Britney did. Britney had her very first commercial, and she's selling candy in Japan.
What?
Sometimes I
Reminds me of that video. It shows you the Pussycats.
Yep, classic scene. I like that one.
So, you know, Britney has to do it too. She just did it before them. Maybe that's what they were parodying. Oh,
Look at the strategic choice of color. Because this was the what, coming of age millennial here, right?
Yes,
so
everything was bright and poppy.
It's pink and blue.
And, you know, what happens in a lot of these commercials? You got a peppy young person, and then you have that just mean, bitter person.
Yeah, that wants to take the fun out of everything.
Kind of looks like the bodyguard in Lilo and Stitch.
No, he looks like that one. He looks like, gosh, nobody's going to understand this, but.
He looks like Terrell Owens.
No, this is for us. It looks like Ranger Joe's bodyguard.
That's the bodyguard in Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, gotcha. Straight up Men in Black style.
So she's fed him candy. What will happen?
Oh, he's going to get happy, excited. He's going to bust out some dance moves.
What? You think this is like every other commercial that's ever existed?
I do.
He knows the moves. Look at him. He loves the Suki.
Okay, that was cool, but this is what I came here today to see. This just iconic Britney Spears Pepsi ad.
Yeah, because at a certain point, it became, well, all right, maybe you don't need to sell Japanese candy. You're big, and you're big like Michael Jackson was big.
Right.
You need to be the face of Pepsi. So for like every year, it seemed, a new Pepsi ad. And you know what? Catchy song, right?
Oh, dude, off the bat, and it just comes in, it captures your attention, and she's hitting the dance moves right off the bat, and the hat comes off in the hood, and it's just like, holy smokes. Right here. Boom.
Boom, boom.
Yep. And then everyone, they all jump out. It's so sick. This was like shot super well. Cool track.
Pepsi do you think you drink on an average
I love that
So
ad.
how much Pepsi?
Really?
She really likes Pepsi.
Oh, every day of my life. I think maybe this is why my mother liked Britney Spears back in the day. Huge Pepsi fan.
Did she often let your food burn
My favorite
too?
kind of Pepsi? Pepsi's
Yeah.
Pepsi.
Well, you don't drink Diet Pepsi or
No,
Pepsi
just
Vanilla or
just
Orange
right.
Pepsi?
No, just a straight up Pepsi, yeah.
Hi, this is Britney Spears wishing you a happy Pepsi Blue Christmas.
Unless they want
finally.
me to endorse Pepsi Blue.
There's Britney
Dude,
Spears.
Austin
Christmas.
Powers, let's go.
All right, this commercial would totally not happen these days, too, for Austin Powers.
I love this part.
It's one of those... Mom, you're embarrassing me.
Round and round, but some things never change.
This is
Why-
so cool.
Why is the Pepsi commercial way catchier than most songs these days?
Really
No,
big.
dude, it really
Prime
is.
Time on NBC. Britney Spears is the Grand
and
Marshal.
Jeff Gordon.
She's got a
He's a big Britney fan.
Everybody's engines.
Hey, Jeff, get me a 3/4 inch socket, will you?
Oh, get out of here. This
Yeah,
is
she
great.
repaired his vehicle.
She's revving everybody's engines.
Oh, uh-oh, betrayal. The Coke guys are even watching.
Yep, I love that.
And this is...
He's like, can I have my oxygen, please? I know.
Like, you would get ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Easy boy.
Right. Dude,
Stuck
what a
right in your
what a
head.
budget, right?
It's a Pepsi twist, man.
I kind of remember
and that's not Britney Spears.
No?
Yeah, that would be gotten away with today.
It's a man, baby. Yeah, but come on, this is great stuff.
Fair enough.
Nice kick. Fair enough.
If you had to explain what 2000s were like, that Austin Powers crossover with Britney.
Yeah.
All right, so I didn't remember this one. But it must
No,
have been
I don't either.
overseas. But low-key, I went and downloaded this song too.
Did you?
Well, I didn't realize Britney had such soccer skills.
Was that Snoop Dogg that I saw as well? This is cool.
Almost makes me like soccer.
Almost.
So this is the one I really remember too.
Oh, the olden days. This is cool. 50 style.
So when people say that Britney couldn't sing like Christina Aguilera could sing, I always thought Britney's a stylized singer. And she's got a great voice, but she's not going to unnecessarily belt things out.
Right. I think Christina's one of the best singers of our time, hands down. Oh, now we're in the 60s.
I want to start with Britney.
This is great stuff, man.
If I was
Dude,
still
to me,
drinking
like-
soda, I'd want one right now.
Yeah, to me, watching these like Britney Pepsi ads, even back now, it's like, what a huge star she was.
Oh, God, yeah.
Crazy. Like, literally, like the top of the world. Yes. This is such a cool idea. And then now. Dude, she defines a generation. I don't care what anybody says.
This is a lot of effort to go through to sing the Pepsi jingle. Easy, boy.
Now, I want to know when in the video she's going to crack a can.
At the very end.
Hi, Vietnam. Let's try Pepsi Blue now.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, Vietnam. Have yourself a Pepsi.
Why not? Just crack a cold Pepsi. Everything will be fine.
So as Britney Spears continued getting bigger, obviously, and you said it earlier, you have those growing pains, those awkward moments where you're like, oh boy, that didn't come off great. Gotta chalk it up as a loss and move on, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're growing up in the public eye and listen to me talking about it like I can relate, which I can't, by the way, but I can empathize with just, you just got cameras on you all the time. You can never dress down. You always have to be on. Everything has to be prim, proper, and perfect. And that's just not realistic,
No, and this is kind of where I start seeing like, all right, you can almost see where somebody under this much public scrutiny and everything they do is magnified. I mean, you're supposed to let that stuff go, but if they never let it go, you can never grow. And then you just start feeling all that pressure, and eventually, what's happening today happens.
2 Bs in der Sendung zu sitzen, ja? Bechtel,
Thank you.
Brittany, Brandy, ich muss in die Mitte, I have to sit in the middle,
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
okay, I'm sorry.
She can never
I'm
tell
sorry
Britney to
auch,
move now.
that's what the guys told me, das haben mir meine Kollegen gerade gesagt, ich sitze falsch.
It's like, I
Das
sit
ist
in the middle.
Natur-Make-up,
Okay.
das ist
No,
ganz
not
wichtig,
anymore.
Natur,
So who's the other girl with them?
Naturkosmetik, die
Some
Haut
German interviewer
in
with
ihrer
Brandy?
natürlichen Balance zu halten. Verstehst du, was ich
Oh,
meine?
she
You know what I
that's
mean?
Brandy. I thought that was a translator.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Yep,
How do
you know
spell
what?
fun?
Yes.
Well, check out the Skyport Discovery Center. It's all about science, and it really rocks. Now,
Hey,
don't
Brittany,
freak
you're
on
not
me.
famous yet.
Yes,
Can you talk
I
about
said
the local
and
science
fun in the
center?
same breath.
Right.
Sure,
Oh,
anything
I
for
almost forgot.
publicity.
If you want to spell fun, try SCIANCE.
Are you even surprised at how fast this has happened to you?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Dude, when
It's
that cover
all of a
dropped,
sudden,
that was
It
like...
seems like overnight, just boom, you're famous.
You want to
It's
talk about a
weird.
paradigm
It's
shift.
really crazy.
I agree.
She went
Do you
from
find it
girl
hard
next
to deal
door
with
to
the fame part of
straight
it?
up
Are you
just
able to go out in the street or everyone
heartthrob
knows?
sex
I mean,
symbol,
sometimes I'm just now starting to get like,
Yeah,
like to go into a store. And
you
people
hear it right
will be,
now.
like, asking you for your autograph and stuff, but it's flattering to me.
She
I
just
think it's
seems
very
so
sweet.
overwhelmed
Well,
by
you're
all
a
that.
level-headed young
Yeah.
girl, and I hope that
It's
you
so
stay
weird.
that
Like,
way. And
I
I
hope
think
you stay that way.
It's
God.
almost like, all right, this is what you need to say. This is how you need to come off,
For leaving the lyrics
It's almost like it's a
intact,
little
i.e.
bit
can't
more
get no girly
controlled
action.
than it
Is
is
this a conscious effort on
Britney,
your part to
being
reach out
able to
to
be
your lesbian
Britney.
following?
Yeah. And then, God, could you imagine this follow-up here?
What
like,
did you say?
Are
nowadays?
you trying to reach out to your lesbian following by talking about can't get no girly action in the Satisfaction
No,
song?
that wasn't the intention for that.
Are you bisexual?
No.
Then I love this clip right here because it's those early days of promoting this hip new thing called the internet and our exclusive website. And she's kind of in like this Max Headroom sci-fi, like looks like she could rap God.
Oops, I did it again. I found the ultimate website.
Utopia,
cool
the bootleg YouTube.
Utopia.com. You get U-dollars for playing interactive.
Why have I heard of Utopia before?
U-dollars let you shop for free for whatever you want. Clothes, shoes, CDs, including mine, and lots more. Now that is cool. Everything you do
Little
here
did
lets
she
you build
know.
your account, emailing, chatting, even
This was a
logging
start
on.
to the
Just check it out.
detriment
Have
for
you
the whole
stopped by
music
Utopia to
industry,
share
no? The
experiences
damn
with all of
internet.
you? We'll shop, hang out, chat, and I'll fill you in on cool music, films, and fashions that
It
I
was
find.
social media
It has
before
fun,
social
and
media
on
really took
$8,
off.
maybe
Yeah.
even enough for
Except you can get dollars to buy a Britney CD.
And let's not forget that Paris Hilton and Britney Spears invented the
What do
selfie.
you want?
What do you want? What do you want? Britney,
I want it
calm
that
down.
way. What does that mean?
Be us.
What do you want?
It's everything.
Buy a car.
I want this vehicle. Man, she had so many just random endorsements like overseas, huh?
Yes, and some of them that was really creepy. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Like Britney, you just all right. Tell us. Buy the car. Buy a Toyota. And there would be people who would do it because even then, and you know this now, like you go on Twitter right now, and they're doing good work getting free Britney and getting that out there to the public. But then
Right.
sometimes they're like, this is getting way too intense. Like you guys need to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's always kind of had obsessed fans and people wanting to know way too much.
Yeah.
We are inside Britney Spears' dressing room, backstage at Wembley Arena.
Security!
I know! Check it out!
Look, you can get a Britney Spears concert.
Except for this guy. He's cool.
Yes, you
I'm getting
can.
one of them. Yeah.
I did it again.
See, that normal girls.
Tell me you finally watched that Lifetime Britney movie.
Everyone's singing that song.
Not yet.
Did you? No, because the way they portrayed Justin Timberlake is so funny. You are gonna die laughing, bro.
I mean, she's so good with these fans, though, too. Like,
Yeah.
These are the normal ones. Like, all right, come in, have fun.
I mean, harmless, you know, nice little girl. Will you sign my CD?
There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. How do you spell your name? What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah? Is it Sarah with
I
an
told you my name already.
How do you not know it's Sarah with an A, not with an H? But then it gets weird. And even back then, like, all right, these all sound like funny stories on the surface, but you're like, oh my God, what if this actually happened to you?
Yeah, some people can just take things a little bit too far. I think that's what we're gonna see here.
They're going to your home where you grew up. Is that
Okay,
right?
yep.
They're going to where your
No,
mom
Conan,
lives?
you
Is
did.
this true?
I saw you out the
It was really
window.
weird because I'd be calling my mom up and I would be like, Mom, who's at the house? And she's like, oh, there's just some fans in. I'm serving them food.
Oh,
She would
God.
invite them in?
Yes, I was
Yeah, they came in, they had some
Yeah,
tea.
that's
I showed
just
them
to
your old
encourage them to come
yearbooks.
back, you know?
Mom, what are you
Come on in,
doing?
wants free cable.
Free cable?
Bring a weapon.
What if he stole
Yeah.
it?
Worst excuses that you've heard.
So this was her bodyguard.
I remember him.
Cousin or their
Big Rob, I believe.
How long was he around for? Do you know?
Back and say that I'm sick or whatever.
Through, like, the height of her career.
They just try all
Right.
kinds of stuff.
Not even tears move you. No.
That's a good bodyguard.
Yeah.
Do they take stuff? They take stuff from your yard, I heard? What are they stealing from your
Sometimes
yard?
They would come and steal dirt.
Like our gnomes and stuff, you know?
Dirt?
Yeah.
They were stealing
That is
dirt.
giving me an idea.
Oh,
In the
God.
bathroom before. In a
Dude,
bathroom
Conan was
stall,
always
someone
so good
knocking
off
on
the
my
cuff.
bathroom door. Can I have an autograph? Knock, knock on the door. It's a little strange. Yeah, I had one show and my mom came there and there was this guy and he won a contest because
A guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just this guy
and,
there.
My mom thought it was me. She was like, "Brittany, come here," and then she turned around and it wasn't me.
When did your mom figure it
Yikes.
out?
Hey, Ma, it's great to see you.
What is she like?
Britney,
You got a bag of
bitch.
chips here, a little stereo sound system. Come.
It's very, very big. It's
Like, this guy's
spacious
been
and it's
invited
bigger
in, and he's
than
like,
my
all right, I'm
flat.
going to show you
This
everything in
restaurant.
Britney's
Nice
personal
little, like,
space.
comfy
Yeah.
sofas here, little cuddly bear here, another cuddly
gonna
bear.
touch
I don't
all
know
her
what these
stuff.
are. The little stones, and on these stones are written trust, love, joy,
laugh.
He's like Rick James on the couch almost.
Yeah, this guy's a little bit too much for me.
Britney.
It's where I like walk around the stage and there's no music or anything going on. And I think the audience thought it was planned. And this guy just all of a sudden, he comes up on the stage and he takes his shirt off and he starts screaming. I'm like, please stop. And then one of my dancers, DJ, he came up and he took him off the stage. So.
The DJ tackled him off the stage? Yes. Thanks for representing all us DJs and doing that. Bravo to you, sir.
He earned his paycheck that night.
Oh, yeah.
Now, she seems so innocent, but eventually people start digging in and being like, oh, she can't be that innocent, right?
Right.
I mean, you know what the lyric says? I'm not that innocent.
I'm not that innocent.
So at a certain point, the media starts getting, like, on to Britney Spears. And I think this is, like, the earliest, all right, you're getting way too obsessed. You're starting to pry way too much. And they start digging for things, right?
Just trying to, like, turn over rocks and find some sort of scandal or skeleton, right?
And I remember the first instance of this, and there's, like, a Howard Stern clip back in the day where, you know, they could get isolated audio from, like, a feed from a concert, or people would send this stuff into them, so they have that kind of access, and they'd be like, you wouldn't believe what we just got.
Yeah.
So there was, like, a concert that she had in Brazil, I believe, and you have that live mic, you have the feed, and sometimes you don't know what's being broadcast over the air before your concert, right?
Right.
So, as Britney says, she's not that innocent.
Nope.
This was Britney caught on a live mic, and it seems so like, oh my God, I can't believe she said these things. Now you hear this, and you're like, really? This is what people would download off Napster?
Right. They were in a huge just uproar over.
Don't tell me they're just like letting the audience just fucking stand out there like that. Oh my God. Okay. Hey, let's hurry, y'all. Seriously. This is ridiculous. They told me they were gonna do a vamp.
Britney, how could you?
So this
You're
is at a
role
concert, and her microphone is still on.
Yep.
Oh,
in front of the audience.
What are they doing?
And you can tell she's like a perfectionist. Like, she's probably just like, what's going on?
Wow. Well,
she's
you know
trying
what?
to do a job,
Let's
right?
just judge everybody on everything they say behind closed doors or when they think they're speaking in private. Everybody in the world would be canceled.
Yes, and then you get that thing too. You look at it and you're like, well, have you ever put on a production or done anything creatively or even just anything, like do a job or something? Sometimes you're just kind of frustrated and you're wondering, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? So, and you don't use the most PC of language. Sometimes you just get upset.
Right.
Like, she's doing a show. She probably wants it to be good for the audience.
Oh, no, she definitely does.
But
So she's probably just back there wondering, okay, what the hell are y'all doing?
And then you had the first major controversy. Boy, that Baby One More Time video. What was it? Kind of sexual, right?
Provocative is a word I would use, yeah.
But I mean, there's the midriff, but I mean, even at the time, that was how kind of overblown because...
Dude, in any high school across the country. Are you kidding me?
Have you gotten to the point where you see yourself as a role model to all these other young girls out there that are looking up to you and looking up to what you say and do?
Well, I mean, if they want to put me up on a pedestal like that, that's really sweet.
It's your problem,
it's just that I'm human and I make mistakes just like everybody else.
This is the thing about America.
For me and for them as well. It's flattering,
and
though.
almost specifically with pop stars, as fast as they bring you up, they want to tear you down even faster.
In the video, they're like,
it's just so crazy to me. I don't understand
I
it.
thought the video was kind of cheesy, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean...
But I just think it's really funny, though, that, just by me doing the baby video
like,
with my belly showing or whatever. I mean, I love Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, but when they're doing all those thrusts on the stage and when they're making out with the microphone thing, no one says anything about that. But when I'm just showing a little belly, everyone's like,
it's the double standard. Guys can do whatever they want, and big girls got to be very careful.
Right.
That's just people turning over rocks trying to find something wrong. It's kind of sad. Joe, I will show my belly on camera right now.
Please don't.
Okay.
When they're making out with a microphone. Did you ask AJ
We're trying to
about that?
monetize this channel. Dude, you know what? To me, it seemed like anyone who was anyone, and everyone, matter of fact, was talking about Britney Spears, and the only word that can really explain it was people were just obsessed with everything she did, every move she make. every person she was around. It was just obsession.
It got to the point years later, it became about the kids and a mental breakdown and all that stuff. And, you know, what we have going today. But even then, it was like, oh, she did this, or she looks different here, or there was like, oh, well, she said it was knee surgery, but really, it had to be to get her chest enhanced.
Right.
I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. Unfortunately, I hurt my knee and I have to stay at home.
Who's she dating? Well, it has to be this guy. Well, it could be this guy. Well, it could be this guy. And, like, it got to a point where I was watching one of these clips, and it's like, well, if Britney Spears wants to travel light, she has to go with her entourage, her mother, her stylist. And it sounded like she didn't even want these people to come along. It's just they had to be there. So
yeah, she kind of had to bring them along, you know, a star, a singer that's as polarizing as Britney Spears. She can never really go anywhere alone because paparazzi's out there, fans are out there, and you just really never know what could possibly happen.
All right, say you and I are recording and we get hungry and it's like, all right, two of us are going to make a decision and then it's off to do that thing. Could you imagine having to call this person and this person and this person and arranging here to just do a simple errand?
I would probably love that problem, just being able not to go anywhere without being recognized. I mean, it happens in town with my voice more than it does my face, of course, because I work in radio. But I always get like super excited when that happens. But I'm sure it gets to a point when you're at the level of a Britney Spears, like a peak prime Britney Spears, where it's like, just leave me alone already, you know?
So let's look at this montage I put together and just see what a day in the life of Britney Spears was in just the beginning, before the meltdowns.
Dating, sex, boys, we've all been there.
Whoa, hold on.
But these days, Britney's
Beyonce's a
sharing
little too
secrets with more
interested.
than just her girlfriends.
Yes, I am a virgin.
From Ben
Yep,
Affleck
I am. Get out of here, Batman.
to Prince William.
Oh, gosh. Oh, there they are. Britney and Christina. Why do they never do a track together?
And what could Britney
I bet that could happen
Spears
now in
possibly
the days
do to
where
top
it's like,
this?
oh, we could do the
She
nostalgia
sat
act.
down to
It's
talk
two
to
of us finally
Tucker
teaming
Carlson?
Dude, I remember when that Britney and Madonna thing happened. Oh my goodness, as like a teenage boy, it was crazy.
Just picture of you, a stuffed Britney Spears holds her stomach like anyone would after eating too much.
must have been really good.
Damn right. I do that on the daily.
A £7.5 million indecent proposal.
What?
I was offered that? I don't know about that. I didn't
Wow,
know that.
an indecent proposal.
One of us is a virgin, and one of us is Britney Spears.
Oh!
That's crazy to me. Not only the Tucker Carlson interview.
Dude, why does he just seem so out of place talking to celebrities and artists? It's just crazy to me.
I know.
But he has such a great delivery and voice, but not for entertainment, you know?
No, well, it's like when you look at these old clips of Bill O'Reilly on like Entertainment Tonight, and you're like, Bill O'Reilly talking entertainment? No,
Right.
Doesn't seem right at all. But like the clip they pull up, and it's like Britney Spears coming out of a restaurant holding her stomach. It's like, that's news. Leave her
tell
alone.
Me, how many times have you done that coming out of the Old Country Buffet in South Portland? Come on now.
I think it's any place really, because you want to get your money's worth, which is what I've
and then
taught.
immediately the pants come unbuttoned, the zipper comes down, and you're just like, itis.
Yeah, and now imagine at some point they're like, ho, 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 you wouldn't believe it, but this is what he looked like coming out of the restaurant. Well, yeah, I look like that coming out of the restaurant. I'm not trying to please anyone other than feed my stomach.
Right. I mean, I used to be taught, years ago, no matter where you go or what you're doing, always be in character, always be in brand, always dress the way that you're supposed to be dressed. And dude, I got that advice about 10 years ago, and I think I maybe followed it for like 3 years. And then it was like, no, like, dude, I'm a person. I'm gonna, go out and wearing, dude, like I went to Walmart today wearing swim shorts because I didn't have any clean shorts and a t-shirt. And it was like, nobody cares. You know what I mean?
Well,
but I guess if
you were a
but,
celebrity, they'd be like, oh, there's that eccentric guy out there in his swim shorts, probably has one sock on, but sandals.
Right.
And his hair is unkempt, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Was he doing heroin? I'm not saying he was, but if you buy this article...
Right, and that's the whole thing about it. It's like, of course, I'm not, Britney Spears. Nobody is. I don't think we'll ever have like a pop star that big again, even in the day and age. Right, even in the day and age of like social media. You know what I mean? But gosh, you gotta remember that they're people too, and they just want to do people stuff just like you and I do. It's so weird because here in America, we put these people up on these like just pedestals that are so high, and we obsess over celebrities and their relationships. And dude, like working in radio, I talk about this stuff every day, and some of it I'm like, gosh, I just don't care, But
are they dating Prince William? Are they dating Ben Affleck?
Right, this sounds like all stuff that's off my entire like prep sheet for like a broadcast in pop music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, but the audience cares about that stuff, and they love that stuff, so that's what you got to give them.
So when it comes to things that people just really cared about, almost to, I don't know, it's insane to look back that this caused so much controversy, and it's almost now a blip. But what was one of the very first things you remember causing controversy for Britney Spears?
Gosh, I remember the cover of Rolling Stone, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the alleged boob job.
Rolling Stone magazine. What, for our audience, what was it? Why was it so controversial?
Well, Rolling Stone magazine was just like it was a super popular, issue. Like if you made it on the cover of that, you were one of the biggest, acts in the country. And the reason it got so much press, not only because it was Britney and she was so polarizing, it was the fact that she was like scantily clad, at best. And that whole country girl, Southern charm kind of turned into like, sex symbol, like sultry sizzle. And I specifically remember like a purple Teletubby, and I don't really know why.
Oh, and at the time period too, it was the sexuality in question of a certain Teletubby. And it was like, well, the purple one, you know about him. And it's like, wait, why are we putting that on these Teletubbies as well? Like, this is literally
a little kid show.
This is literally a show where there's a little kid in a sun and ooh la la poor, and it's like, all right, I do have the question: why is she holding this Teletubby? And luckily, I finally found the answer 20 years later.
Did you really?
I did find the answer.
I'm curious to know.
But my God. Britney, I think, sums it up best. Why? Why is this so super controversial when at the time, yeah, you probably could get like a Backstreet Boys poster with like that half shirt up.
Right.
Water probably dripping on him from somewhere.
Buttoned open kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like, hey girl, I want you and only you. And it's like, well, geez, do that on the opposite side. That's how you get a male fan base too.
And dude, if you think about real quick what you just said, it could have been any member of the Backstreet Boys, any member of NSYNC, whatever. But the fact that it was Britney, that it was a girl, that's what all the controversy was over, because it's almost like, well, it's okay for him to do that, but for her, whoa, what's the story here?
I mean, you see the clip here. It's how they got to sell their magazines, along with something like, oh, forbidden crushes, celebrity yearbook pictures, baby photos, embarrassing stories.
I read one.
Sexy stage, Rolling Stone.
It was really weird because I'm not like that, and it was kind of cool to see myself in a different way. Yeah, it was like, being girly and just seeing yourself in a different way.
Kind of like grow up and grow out of styles and stuff.
Dude, her music videos were so freaking good.
With your Rolling Stone cover.
Oh, there it is.
Right. When you hear that people are going, ooh, making a fuss.
That's a poster that I would love to have up on my wall to this day.
I was like, people were making such a big deal out of it.
Parts up her image, like, come on.
Whoa.
I mean, people are going to have their opinions about
it
things, and I can't change the way they feel about things, but as long as I'm fine with it and I'm comfortable with it,
dude,
that's the only thing that matters to me.
Sexuality is one of the biggest parts of pop music.
I didn't know what a Teletubby was.
They just said, hold this.
Right, that's how you sell it.
I did the shoot at my house.
This is
Normally
it.
you do them out in studios, but because my knee, I was recuperating
staying with many, they came to my house. So my little sister was there, and she was like, Teletubbies, and she went crazy.
Jamie Lynn, you brilliant son of a gun.
You know, they kind of explained it to me, and I was like, well, I'll just hold this one.
So you thought, like, oh, the photographer, that's the creative guy. He knew that people would talk about this Teletubby. Nope. It was basically a baby Jamie Lynn Spears.
And think, like,
Giving him the Zoe 101.
that would make sense. At that age, she would have that. But to take such a innocent thing like that purple Teletubby, which is on every day on a kid's show, like a toddler show, it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of brilliant if you really think about it. It's like a happy accident, right?
Along with that, like, all right, they're gonna increase how scandalous Britney could be. I mean, to be on that cover, she's basically nude. I bet you just go full nude, and it's like, settle down.
Hold on. I wear less to Kroger. Like, get out of here.
You were wearing bathing shorts.
Yep.
Weißt was ich nicht machen würde?
I like pose nude for money or like.
Also ich würde mich niemals nackt ausziehen für Geld oder probieren. Das würde ich niemals machen.
No matter how much money, never.
Right, never.
Egal wie viel Geld.
Was kostet schon die Welt, Leute? Hier sitzen 3
That
Millionen
must have been the
Dollar
most
auf der
awkward
Couch,
interview
ja?
because how
Do
can they
it
even,
together.
like, everything has to be said and then translated.
No.
Yeah.
And Britney's like, what the hell is going on? What are you talking about?
She said something about posing nude. No, I wouldn't. I think that's what you asked. What?
You gotta think all the outrage was because her midriff was showing. It's almost like being dress coded at school.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was the other thing you mentioned, the boob job rumor. And it was
Right.
like, people were trying to investigate into that. And I remember early internet and things like that. And you have those, like, almost like a Madden mock-up or something. And it's like, see under here, if you look at how this looks in this shot. And it's like, you're screen drawing, you mapping out a play here. This is
That's
really
called lighting,
obsessive.
guys. It's called lighting.
See, I mean, he got a little in here and a little up there. Here, but he doesn't have anything here at all. Watch, when you take it off, he doesn't have anything going up in there.
Well, you got to give him time. He just had his 29th birthday.
I know, but I don't think he's doing a very good... I'd quit.
Well, and then as she points out in these clips, like, all right, the white shirt, it's the same as in the Sometimes music video, but all right, maybe you wear the same piece of clothing a couple months later or in a different setting. What happens? Clothes aren't perfect, right?
Yeah, dude, like, I mean, I'm going to break our kayfabe here, and I'm sorry to do it, but this shirt is from when we filmed last week, and it's just been sitting up in my closet, and now, like, the collar, it's, like, too big, and it's, like, not fitting the way it did before. And then, I mean, you have shirts that you'll wear, and even if you don't dry them, they still shrink, or maybe I'm just getting bigger. I don't know. But clothes are finicky at best.
So is the weather. So Britney Spears, went to go perform at the Kids' Choice Awards at a Nickelodeon audience. And people noticed, all right, she is looking a lot more stacked than usual.
So wait a minute, was this show outside?
Getting older. No, it was indoors, just a regular Nickelodeon award show.
The Nickelodeon Kids Awards, you got like a little.
Dude, I still love this song.
Like that white shirt.
All right, well, there you go.
Is that something you have to think about?
I actually wore that same shirt in the video, and nothing, I mean, no one talked about it because it wasn't obviously cold when I was doing the video shoot because we were so hot outside.
Why does she have to explain herself to this lady?
But,
I know. It's like, if anybody would understand, it's another woman, you know what I mean?
All right, now let's talk about the Nickelodeon
But no,
Awards.
they were the worst
I'm
critics.
37. How old are you?
Whoa.
I'm 17.
Easy,
I'm old enough to
Rosie.
be your mother. I don't want to see you in that shirt again, unless you
I'm
ever
so
vest.
glad you're bringing this up. I was so humiliated. You do not understand. I'm going to Orlando thinking
Rosie.
it's going to be like
You don't need
90-degree
to
weather.
scold her.
And a storm,
A
of course,
vest.
goes through when I get there. And then I go out there, and when I came back, there was nothing I could do, and I was so humiliated.
Yeah, it was cold. Things happen. The point is,
you know.
I
Oh,
understand.
stop it. It's not a
The
big
point is,
deal.
you promise me next time, the white shirt, you put a little cute vest.
I will definitely
You
do that.
promise
I
me?
promise.
I will ground you. I will, Brittany.
I
Don't
will
make me
ground
ground
you. Rosie was cool. She was funny.
She was like a fun aunt back then. Now she's
Yeah.
just so bitter and angry, and it's tough to even remember what I remotely thought was kind of interesting about her show, because I remember we'd come on after, like, Fox Kids. So I'd be finished with all the cartoons, and she'd come on, interview Tom Cruise, call him a cutie patootie, and I was like, man, she's like a fun aunt. It's lighthearted. And then, I don't know, it kind of went away. But man, it was like all right, you have to keep like shaming her, like, oh, explain yourself. It's nothing. Move on.
It's the temperature of the building. I'm sorry. Like, what do you want from me?
And her management made it quite clear that if I asked about the knee operation being a cover-up for an alleged boob job, I'd be out.
Oh, get out of here.
The question was strictly off limits, but I knew that when
You know what? This guy is probably a lot like me. He actually doesn't care to talk about this stuff, but he has to do it for his job, and his job is to sell the sizzle. Sell the sizzle first. Dude, I remember this. This was so funny.
Well, boys, be jealous. I have met Miss Britney Spears, and you know what? I had a little feel of her Babylons, and I think they're real.
No, you didn't. Babylons.
It's so funny what people will say to sell.
Okay, that is strangely photoshopped. That was done in like Microsoft Paint.
Lies about me. I was like, oh my God, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, which is one of the things that are bad about this business.
Dude, her eyes are up there.
Isn't that so strange? Because, all right, you got poor Photoshops. You have all these like other people just jumping in, being like, oh, I'll make a joke too. I felt them, and they could be real, they could be fake. Or, well, they told me not to, but I'm such an investigative journalist that I have to.
Right, and I mean, at that point, it's not even about being a journalist or a reporter. Like, you work in entertainment. So yeah, like, doing what I do each day, it's no different than what they're doing here. You're just trying to sell the sizzle of what's happening. You got to lead with that headline, even if that, headline is a little or maybe a lot misleading. Like, this is just what they do every single day. But the general public, the audience, they just eat it up and they take it as fact. And I think that's kind of the point.
And you look at it, you're like, well, all right, maybe you're onto something, but what good are you doing bringing that out? Like, all right, say the boob job stuff was real or it wasn't. Who cares?
Right.
Cares?
Well, that's the thing is you and I would say who cares, because we don't. But that audience cared so much. They were so invested. That's why it was on TV over and over again. That's why it was made fun of on SNL. That's why it was in the newspapers and the tabloids and the magazines. Like, that audience really, really cared.
And I say, who cares now?
Right.
Back then, all right, I'll play along. I'm interested. I didn't buy the J14s and stuff like that, but they were around the house, and once they got read, I'd read them too.
Yeah, like, think about it. In the grand scheme of things, did it actually matter? No, but you were just caught up in the hype of everything that was surrounding Britney Spears because she was such a polarizing character.
So in, the world, this doesn't seem like a big deal, but you need to know what Britney's doing, what Britney's thinking. So then you get things like this.
Oh, God.
Britney Spears on politics.
Yikes.
You're going to be on the National Mall soon.
Tucker Carlson's
performing,
in-depth interview.
For Pepsi and the NFL, and also to support our troops.
I will say he's crushing it with that bow tie, though.
In Iraq. Have you?
Honestly, I think we should just trust our president in every decision that he makes, and we should just
Bingo,
support
bango.
that, and be faithful in what happens.
Do you trust this president?
Yes, I do.
Unlike Kanye West, she was like, all right, I got your back, Bush, I guess.
Right, and like, she was so coached. If he brings up any of this stuff, even though he's not supposed to because he's been strictly told not to, if he does, these are the answers you give. Mm-hmm. Like, all this stuff is so programmed, and it's so sometimes fake, and you have these journalists or reporters or whoever just trying to get something out of you so they can then recycle and rinse the whole process and start with a headline again and then this. And it's just brutal. Like, some of those people are just scummy douchebags.
I guess if you get put in that situation and you know where you're at, like if you're going on his show, what he's doing, you know what you're going to get. But if like you're out in the public and also getting hammered with these type of questions, or it's just supposed to be like that one guy who's like, I'm going to ask her. It's like, you don't walk into expecting an ambush from that interviewer.
Right.
Like, that's not his job. So now we're out of the baby one more time phase, and it's now time for, oops, I did it again. And it's like she took another step, right?
Yeah, this is where everything just like it heats up beyond belief. And if I remember correctly, this was around the VMA performance with the nude suit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're getting towards this era. So she took that whole, oh, you think that I'm, sexual now? You think this? You think that? Well, let me give you exactly what you're calling me out to be.
She's owning it.
Yep.
But that didn't mean that some journalists and reporters still weren't going to not really know who she was. And just, I don't know, tell me what's wrong with this clip.
Yesterday, for the release of her second CD called Whoops, I Did It Again, Britney Spears decided to hold a press conference in Montreal.
Whoops. Whoops.
Maybe get it right. I know Conan will get it right. He's never let me down before.
Please welcome the queen of teen, Britney Spears.
The queen of teen. I
Hyping
like
her
it.
up. You got to.
My God, she's
You look
stunning.
very pretty.
Well, thank
You've
you.
got either I'm on acid or you're glittering. Is that? Is there a glitter? Can
Could be
I don't
both.
think- yeah, they can see that at home.
Yes,
Is that
like fairy dust.
fairy dust?
Yes.
Ah.
Okay, you showbiz people.
Available now at BritneySpears.com.
So it just got bigger and bigger.
Dude. Britney always put on like a hell of a show, man. I'm bummed that I've never got to see her live before.
My sister said it was one of the best shows she ever went to.
Oh, I bet.
And it has to be to sell the hit clips.
You and I need to make a trip out to Vegas to see Britney.
If she ever wants to perform again,
If she's-
with the
exactly,
conservative
if she's there
she's
again.
over.
About just being yourself and being happy with you.
So
and
yeah,
not
as you're
caring
saying,
about what other people think. Like one of the
second
titles of the
album,
songs is what you see is what
owning
you
it
get.
now.
Maturing a little bit
I
more.
think it's cool. It's a good message for teenagers out there.
Doesn't
They're
need to hide
stronger,
anything
they have more
anymore.
attitude, They're edgier.
Samsung has created a wireless phone.
Those teenagers with their Britney phones.
Dude, AIM, let's go.
That phone could probably play Snake,
Anytime, any place.
but might even handle a call.
This is dope.
Just a glance. Color code all your calls. Visit www.samsungus.com.
These are what remixes
You know what I
used to
love?
sound
How
like.
in these ads they would always have to put visit www.
R225M. Simply brilliant.
Simpler times, man. Simply brilliant and simpler times. I like it.
So if you notice, Britney was starting to sound a little bit more tired there.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, all right, this is the second album. It's gonna be bigger and better. And I wish I could have found some more exciting. Like, man, this is gonna be the album.
Right.
But at that point, I mean, you start noticing the burnout from these clips.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think a lot of artists nowadays they'll go what they call off cycle, and I mean,
what are they, Lance Armstrong?
Well, no, like a perfect example of this would be Ed Sheeran. He just took 16 months off. He said, you know what? I got to get away. I got to like recharge. I got to disconnect, and I'll come back when I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. And he probably doesn't even get a fraction of people following him around like she did.
No, and then, I mean, you have to think, like, Britney couldn't do that. She had to keep going and striking while the iron was hot. So it's not like she really had a choice in the matter, let alone a personal choice in the matter.
No, as some of these clips I'll play show, is she's not just supporting herself. She's supporting this person, mom, dad, brother, sister, hairstylist.
Everybody had their hands out. Everybody.
Larry Rudolph, as Howie Mandel pointed out. The other thing people will remember from this time period is the king and queen of pop music. They were
Mr. and Mrs. Denham, Britney and Justin.
And what a love story, right? It's you got two kids from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
Two of the biggest performers at that time period, both making massive hits, being everywhere, having $1 million music videos. And you know what? They're in love.
Nowadays, I'll like seriously question certain, celebrity like relationships because I've found out for them to be false, which is something that's been happening since like the beginning of time, right?
Well, I mean, even when you get to the NSYNC thing too, it's like Lance Bass and Daniel Fishel, and it's like, well, you know the truth many years later.
Right. And there was like a more recent, example of that I saw firsthand, but I'm not going to toss anybody's names out. But when, like, you know, being that age at this time, it's like, no, this is 100% real. This has to be, right?
I see them at every event. Everywhere he goes, she goes.
Yeah.
They're selling it. Like, all right, if Britney's at this toy store, Justin's at that toy store event.
Yeah.
If this award show's happening, they're arriving on the carpet together. They get interviewed. They're getting interviewed together. It's a beautiful love story. Let's look at it.
Joe, boyfriend?
No, I'm single right now.
Not you.
Are you in love now?
Am I in love now? With a guy?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just ask.
No.
No.
You're on tour with the NSYNC boys, huh?
Oh, there's Howie.
Funny for you?
Dude, what a cool tour that must have been, right?
Weren't you Musketeer?
Oh, I would have killed to have seen that
Yeah,
one.
Justin and JC.
Yeah. Did you know them then?
I wonder who was like the
we're on the show
opener
together,
of that show.
I went on
You know what I
tour
mean?
with a guy
I found a guy.
NSYNC.
We'll be introduced to him.
I saw you on tour with NSYNC. And
For number 7, let's check in with our good friend Britney Spears.
Good friend, huh?
Doing their own countdown. That's cool.
No, I'm
I like that Joey Fatone's dressed like somebody who was listening to ICP before he went on stage.
With, the girls and he's mine. So, but no, they were really cool and the response was really good. So.
Justin's just sitting there smiling.
Yikes.
I would like to introduce to you 5 special friends of
Oh, dude, look at this.
Good friends of hers.
So wait a minute, was there like a Britney NSYNC CD put out by McDonald's? What the heck is this?
And McDonald's, it was a combo. You get a couple songs from NSYNC, a couple songs from Britney, and then the VHS would also be like a music video, a live performance, and like a making of.
Ah.
And it was like a combo package that you get for $3 or $4 on top of your meal.
I wonder if you can find that anywhere on the web.
Oh, I still have it.
You do?
Yes. Oh, Lance, he wanted to win that spin the bottle. Dude, listen to them play the chords, Leave Me Breathless in the background.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
It's a little eerie, like just seeing them arrive like this and not like all the cameras flashing on the carpet and them just trying to just blow right by.
Yeah, and they have to pretend like, oh, I don't hear you. I don't hear you yelling for me.
Right, but this was like an every night occasion for them.
Say that you kiss him sometimes.
It's really cool to have someone.
Says that you kiss sometimes. Great writing.
And we have fun together. He's like my best friend.
Wait a minute, is that Lenny
Known
Kravitz
him
behind them?
For so long, since the Mickey Mouse
Lenny
Club.
Kravitz looks like, I don't really want to be here right now, but you're playing my song, so all right.
Wait, Kathy, can you explain the handcuffs again?
Yeah, what is going on here?
You and I end up getting
It's the only way
married.
people can tolerate Kathy
know where you
Griffin
are.
that long.
It's a girl thing, it's like LoJack, so I can always find you.
Oh, right.
What? Joe, what's LoJack?
The only thing that's really hard.
Is that the car system, like car protection?
You know what I mean?
Ah,
You
yes,
never
yes.
See that person as much as you want to get
Dude,
to see
that
them.
hair.
Really, it's all boiled down to trust. You know?
Right? I
If
mean, you
have
got to think
that,
they
you know
had
you'll be
such
okay.
busy schedules.
she's
There
with
was
her
really
boyfriend
no
on the
way
dance
that
floor, having a great
relationship
time.
could have worked out
I mean,
long
it's
term,
not like
right?
These two get to see each other that often.
No.
Everything was cool.
Not with that much
until she saw
pressure.
him.
Not with
Her
Beyonce
boyfriend
narrating your
pulled up
love
his hood
life
to hide
Right?
his face.
on
She
TV
let
and
go
get
of his
paid
hand
for
and
it.
walked the other way. It wasn't her father.
Oh.
It wasn't a jealous ex. It was
Oh,
an
God, I
MTV
hope you weren't confusing the
cameraman.
father for a
Just
jealous
another
ex.
night in the life of Britney Spears and her boyfriend, Justin Timberlake.
Also, MTV's in on it too.
Oh, here comes Britney to the rescue.
EC Dub! EC Dub! Fight!
Easy,
Fight!
Spank. Step off. You step
Whoa,
off.
easy skank. Whoa.
All right, how are we solving this?
This
How
is
we-
getting serious.
There's plenty of Justin for everybody.
Yikes.
I don't
That's
care what
funny,
people
dude.
say and how they try to retroactively play it. Justin Timberlake was cool, okay?
Absolutely.
He was just the man, and like, you know, from like the guy's side of it, like, all right, you hate him because of what he has going for him, but if you step back objectively, you're like, dude, he's cool.
So we've all watched the Britney documentary, right?
Mhm.
Everybody gets named, her mother, her sister, but her dad kind of never comes up. What's up with that?
That was another thing I was finding. I wanted to see, like, all right, you know, I remember the mom playing a part. I remember when Jamie started being mentioned. I remember the assistant. I even remember the bodyguard.
Yeah.
I didn't remember the dad either. So I was trying to pull clips. And yeah, it's mom, mom, mom. So it makes you wonder, when did dad get into this picture? And
Yeah, something's weird here.
this is what she wanted, was to sing. It wasn't really to do the Mickey Mouse
Yeah, see, these
Club.
are the kind of things
She
that I
liked
remember
it,
her
and that was
mom being
fun,
on
but that
all
was
the
just
time.
a stepping stone to the part where she can do.
Right, and you have a book out, which we should mention. Britney Spears, Heart to Heart.
Me and my mom, we got it.
This is you and your mom.
Of course. She writes a book with her mother.
And our relationship, and just talking about how
Would you write a
That's
book with
great,
your mom?
to, you know, have that communication with your mom, and you know, I mean, of course, all teenagers, I think, they go to that stage where whatever their mom says isn't cool.
Yeah,
you know what
see,
I mean?
because some people, if they
It's
had the
really
dad
weird
in there, they'd be
because
like,
my
"What?
mom, she's still
It's
my
uncool
mom,
what
but
mom
we're growing
and
into a
dad
relationship
say."
now where it's like,
Yeah.
But
like
no, it's just
friends.
specifically
you know
mom.
what I mean? Because I'm coming into my own a little bit more, and that's cool.
I wouldn't begin to guess what Britney's future will hold.
What the
I
hell?
never underestimate my little girl.
Okay,
It's
what
always been
the
up to
heck?
her. But what I pray is that whatever she does, it brings her happiness.
All right, somebody
I always
call the
tell her,
police.
"Brit, I'm proud of you no matter what. If she gave it all
Restraining order filed immediately after this was filmed.
I'd be proud of her.
He's got her
In fact,
doll. He's
if she
like
moved back
reading the
home,
book out
I'd
loud
be
with candles going.
Nice Airport in France. And
Yikes,
Britney arrives
dude.
with her minder, a chaperone, 4 dancers, a stylist, and a manager. That's travelling light.
See, you are getting into makeup
See, it
now,
feels like
aren't
it's like a running joke. Like,
Yeah, like
you could-
where is the dad?
Yeah, it didn't say dad, but then it also sounded like she arrived with blank and blank and blank and blank and blank. And if I just wanted to go in there, I could just add more names, more jobs. They'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
General Foods coffee. I don't know why, but that makes me feel so cozy inside.
She thinks I'm the only person that can do it, so I call it job security.
I remember
She just
this
calls me
lady.
Yummy Coffee.
So that's Lynn from the documentary, who was the
She
assistant.
was the assistant, yep.
And it just almost feels like another surrogate mom or something where, oh, I feel special when I'm able to help her out.
Yeah, I mean, the way she came across to me was like super protective, super helpful, super kind. So, yeah, I mean, I could see why Britney would have her around for such a long time.
So then the other thing I started running into, you notice how, like, Britney Spears just seems so worn down? And all these clips were like, she has no time. There's no time. I gotta go. I gotta leave. Oh, I don't get to see anybody. And back then it was like, okay, man, you're just a busy girl. But doesn't that seem sad now?
Yeah, you know, it does. And you can kind of see it in this stuff. It's like everything has to get done so quickly because she has to get to the next interview. She has to get to the next session. She has to get to the next dance practice. And it's like, man, you're thinking about this. She's coming up on her second album here. And this was showing no signs of like slowing down for years to come. It's kind of just crazy to even think about.
Well, I recall Melissa Joan Hart talking about that they invited Britney Spears out after she guest starred on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And they're like, hey, come hang with the cast. We would love for you to be out with us. And she just apparently was like, yeah, I'll go. And then her team basically said, no, you're not.
No.
We got another place to go. And then Melissa Joan Hart said she looked super bummed out, looked kind of sad, and it's off to another thing.
We can hang out more now.
Yes, we can, because I'll be in LA and I'll be in New York recording, so I can hang out with my friends. So I'm really excited. And then after that, I'm gonna start rehearsing for my world tour, which probably will start in February.
You're gonna be busy next year. I heard your
Busy
schedule.
girl,
Yeah, she's gonna be touring all year next year.
Oh, craziness.
I don't know how to say it. She's a freaking human being, not a puppet. Like, you can't just overwork somebody that hard for that long and not expect, you know, some sort of outburst, right?
Right. And God, could you imagine? You could have partied with Salem the Cat, but nope. Got to hop back on this plane to do a promotional event, and oh, well, you gotta wish Pepsi Blue customers in Vietnam a Merry Christmas. That's very important. We need that done now.
Yeah.
We need you to promote the science fair from over here. We need you to cut this 15-second bumper. We need you to sing this. Okay.
Holy smokes, dude. Like, gosh, I'm getting tired even thinking about it. And I'm over here thinking, like, my boss asked me to do, like, one extra thing during the day, and I just lose it. Like the world's going to end. Like, there's no way that, like, the average person could have handled living the demanding lifestyle and schedule that Britney Spears does.
So you think you'll have something made?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And now where are you heading off to? You gotta go.
Rehearsal.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I had so much fun. Thank you.
Why is there a referee there?
Right.
Not really. Honestly, not really. You have to make it. You know, you have to make time for yourself. It's really, really important. Actually, I've become kind of like, you know, at the very first tour that I did with Baby One More Time, I was like going out every night with my friends, and you know, I was like, oh my God, there's so
Make
much
time
fun.
for yourself,
and now
huh?
I'm really just kind of like, I'm all about being mellow, man. I'm like an old fart, seriously.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, right.
How many more dates do you have?
You could tell she just wanted to be like, this
2 more
sucks,
weeks,
but
and then
she's
you
a
go home.
coached pro.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you go after 2 weeks?
I go overseas.
Like even there,
Overseas.
can you go
Yeah.
Are
home?
you working
No,
there or you just...
but
I'm just like
it's
a bunch
cute.
of
I'm
commercials.
just
a bunch
working
of
hard.
promotional stuff? Do you get to go home
I do
much?
it here in the States,
Not
and then
really?
I don't
It's okay,
rest
though.
because I
Like,
got to
it's like
fly
I talk to my mom
overseas and do
24/7
it
on the
all
phone,
over
and then I
again.
go home and like I get to
That
spend
means
time
all day and all night, every day.
I've been in this business on and off, and I did have a wonderful childhood.
It seems more
I
like
was in-
on
the first
than
thing
off,
I did, I went to
right?
New York for 6 months,
Yes.
but then after that, I went back home again, and then I did the Mickey Mouse Club. But I was on the Mickey Mouse Club for 2 years, but it was like 6 months out of each year.
That's
and then
kinda
after that,
cool.
I went back to high school, and I had a normal high school, you know, like 9th and 10th grade.
See,
and
I was just hearing on
completely
the
normal, went
Saved
to
by the
prom,
Bell
homecoming
podcast,
experience,
they kind of had this
dating,
kind of
and doing
existence
normal high
going
school
as well,
things.
where they'd
So
film
I really
in
experienced
blocks
that.
and then
I
go back to
totally
school.
did.
Right.
But if I didn't experience that, I probably.
But it's like, how could
would
you
always
though?
have that in the back of my mind. I wonder.
Because
what that
everybody
would
would be like, oh my
So I'm
God,
really
that's
thankful
him,
that
or
I
they'd be
did
so
get the
jealous.
chance to-
Yeah, I
know
thought
what it's
like a
and
lot
I
of them
would
were
much
just
rather be
like
doing this.
not homeschooled, but like kind of schooled on the set.
Really a lot of
Yeah,
travel.
well, I
traveled
think it
far and
changed,
wide,
and then
everywhere. Oh my
sometimes can
goodness.
change.
But since I've hurt my leg, it's
based
so
on what
weird.
kind
I
of
never thought I'd
project
be
it
saying
is.
this. Like I said earlier, it's like once you're home for a while, you get so used to being busy all the time and just being here and there, and it's like I want to be.
So
back.
she
I
was
wanna
home
be
with
able
an
to
injured
dance again.
knee.
So like in 2 weeks, I'll be able to.
And
do
she
the
couldn't-
second video.
I'm sure she wanted to do the shoot
This is the
for
longest time. I mean,
Rolling
I've been
Stone,
away,
but it was like,
you
look,
know,
she
gone,
can't
like,
come to
7
us, so
months
we're
at a
just
time,
gonna
but,
come to
like,
her.
every
She's gonna do it
little bit,
anyway.
like, every other weekend I would like try and fly home.
Time is money.
But I'm just
Injuries
gonna
can't stop you.
I'm not going to be able to go home at all. I mean, it just, you know, with me traveling and everything, that's not really normal. But every 6 weeks, I get to go home and I get to see my family and my friends, and we go out to the movies and we go shopping, so it's still completely normal.
Do you believe that?
No, not with the eye roll yet. It's still completely normal. You know, that normal thing of every 6 weeks stopping in to say, oh, hi, friends. Hi, family. Let's go see a movie. All right, tomorrow I got to head back out again.
It's so crazy to me the way you have all this prepared, because when you're living in that exact time when all of this stuff is happening, and obviously being younger at the time, you don't realize that all this is happening. But looking back on it with hindsight, it's just, oh man, you could almost see her just kind of like, I am exhausted, you know?
And the crazy thing too is, you know, if you're a super fan of something at that time period, you know, you might look through the guides or see something that says, oh, Britney's going to be on Conan tonight, or, oh, Britney might show up here. But these are obsessive fans and a collection of people who've put years worth of this stuff up online. So you're really almost seeing it in real time, as opposed to being like, oh, I saw her on this show, and then she might be on this show next week, and maybe a month later, this thing's going to premiere. This is like, oh, no, you're going to see an appearance that she may have done in Chicago, over here for Entertainment Tonight, or this is the local market. So you're kind of seeing every step of the way, so you can see more of the burnout, where maybe
now
you get hype for you showing up on MTV.
Right.
But like, oh, the morning show in Chicago, maybe. This is going to be me low-key, sort of talking like this.
Right.
I'm just happy I'm here. I'm doing the album. It's great to have fans.
Now, let me play devil's advocate here real quick, because you know there's some people out there that would say, oh, well, stop complaining. This is exactly what she signed up for. If she wants to be the biggest pop star in the world, this comes with the job. Boo frickin' who.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say about that?
I would say, for most pop stars and anything else, yes. But I think when they're under 18, there's so many other parties kind of dictating that the younger they are, the more people who are involved in making these decisions and pushing people around to do stuff. If they make this decision, they're of age, then you know what you signed up for. Or if it's their second go around, like around this time period, Joey McIntyre and Jordan Knight were putting out stuff, and it's like, well, they already know what it's like to do this stuff because they were new kids on the block, and now they're 10 years, 15 years older.
So would this be her second go around since it's her second album, or is it still
this
consistent?
is the first go around.
Okay.
Maybe second if you count, like, if she had had real big success as the Mickey Mouse Club, but since that kind of a different thing, this is all got to be new.
Yeah.
Now, if this documentary and her conservatorship ends and suddenly she's out there again and then making real new public appearances and there's like this real big push again for her, that's what I would call the second go around.
Gotcha.
So then if she was to say, oh, I get overworked, I do over this, and she's making the calls, then you'd be like, well, that's
Doing
on
it to
you.
yourself, right? Yeah.
Personally, I hope she gets out there and does it again, because even back then, a lot of pressure, but Britney Spears was just like, I got to be bigger and bigger, and the stage show's got to be bigger. And what I'm doing, you talked about the nude suit at the VMAs. Then the next year, what does she do?
The snake.
Exactly.
Craziness.
So she kept upping it and upping it, and that's just who she was.
And I think the wild part about that is because she would get to a point in her life and in her career where she couldn't say no, even if she wanted to, because she wasn't in control of her own life, which is something that I still can't understand to this day. I just don't get it.
You know what I mean? But I'm such a perfectionist. I tend to drive myself crazy sometimes because... like,
no pun intended. What?
Yeah. I'm
no
like,
pun intended.
Yeah, you know, like last year's performance, it was
Let
fun
the interviewer
and everything,
caught
but this
it.
year it has to be a lot better.
So you don't notice any sort
Look
of
at the
shift
gum.
in the way you present yourself? 3 years ago was sort of the, example of clean living, and do you think that's changed?
I've grown up, dummy.
I'm still clean living, you know. When I don't go home and have orgies or anything like that, I'm still the same person.
He
that
was
I've
hoping
always been.
so.
It got crazy starting, how long ago would you say? It's a year and a half ago, maybe?
Yeah, like 2 years.
Really got intense. And only you and I really know what that's like.
You know what I always like about Conan? Is he's so good at that stuff. Self-deprecating humor. The audience always likes it. And that's something that I practice in radio all the
After a
time.
while, once I get used to doing it every
He's so
night,
good
it's
at
not
that.
really like a nervous energy. It's like really exciting. You don't really get nervous. The crowd pumps you up and you're just like, oh my God. You just get really excited more than anything.
Do you feel like your life is too complicated?
Too complicated?
Yes.
Sometimes it's a little, but I think
Is
it's
she
just the energy
like putting
there.
on some
It's
sort of
very
character
cool.
here for him, or what?
Maybe. Well, no, because
It almost was like she was just like trolling him just a little bit. No.
It does seem like a little bit of a troll job. Like, I'm just gonna go in and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care if I come off looking stupid because I'm on CNN and they probably think I am stupid already.
And nobody watching CNN is probably a massive Britney Spears fan. Is that safe to say?
So the full clip, and I was like, ooh, that's a little condescending. Not from Tucker Carlson's end, but from Anderson Cooper. So they have that little, like, the cutout from the interview, and, the Anderson Cooper goes, I bet she doesn't watch CNN. I doubt that was sincere. And Tucker Carlson was like, yeah, you're probably right, but I just noticed how young she was, and people kind of need to back off her a little bit.
Yeah.
So he was helpful. Anderson Cooper was just, I'm like, oh God, yes, we know.
You're so sophisticated. You're an adult. We get it. Get out of here.
Anderson Cooper should just realize what this clip will tell you. At the end of the day, Britney Spears was just a girl that America fell in love with, and why we wanted to look back at her exploits and the beginnings.
I totally thought you were about to say, she's a girl, not yet a woman. I thought you were about to go there. I was excited.
What she's doing now. My mom always put sponge rollers in my hair. And like the next day, did you do that? And my hair would just be like out to here.
Mine never stayed.
Just poofy.
Oh hell!
Yearbook.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Only when you have
really
yearbook. Only when you have yearbook pictures.
Homeroom officers.
Okay.
Really messed up. And my
See,
hair.
that is just so much charisma on one screen right there. Right?
Oh,
really
yeah,
is.
Danced. So wee hours in the morning, and actually the next day I had MTV
see, that drove
live.
That drove
I had
young
to do it,
me
and I'm just like
insane.
this.
It was like these two
tired,
are
I got, like, 2 hours
together.
of sleep. I don't know how you do it.
So
But it was
happy.
fun, though. It was fun. It was
A
worth
lot of
it.
Monster Energy drinks. That's how I do it.
Oh, what do you think? My look changes from week to week, so.
She's just a girl changing her hair.
What's your future?
Going out
Well,
dancing.
I think this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Definitely. I think this is something.
Well,
that-
she's
I mean, this
held
is my
true
job.
to
I
that,
found out what
right?
I'm supposed to do at a young age, and I love to sing.
found a career.
I mean, if things slow down for me.
Now, the
I would
last
probably
clip
go to
I
college,
found,
but
like
I
the
don't
very
know
last clip you'll
that
see.
they won't.
Yeah.
And all
Talk
you gotta
about
do is make
telling.
good music, and then
Oh, no.
make music that the audience wants to hear, and you'll be around for a long time. So. she's done with her career. I mean, she's done it all. She's done, movies.
She just idolized Madonna, okay?
Yeah, I was going to say, she's definitely talking about Madonna.
Maintain her music career. She's done theater. She's done everything. And,
well, you think someone like Madonna's had hits in multiple
every
decades.
time she's came out, and it's Madonna.
It's almost like Cher. Hasn't she had like a number one hit in 4 different decades?
Yes. 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, yeah.
That's unbelievable. Like, how do you do that?
You just have to have really good longevity, and then you have to, like, I guess at the beginning, get your big break. You could probably blend 2 different eras. And then that 4th one, you have to have something so out of left field it becomes big, or you have to collab with somebody.
Right, because you think, to get those first 2, it could have been the end of one decade, the beginning of the next, and then maybe that again. But it's like, there's still just a bunch of, I don't know, to me, that's just talent, man. It's just talent.
Well, it's like you also have Paul McCartney. I mean, that's you got 60s, 70s, 80s. I want to say the Beatles reunion or something that might have done a 90s one. But then he was on the song with Rihanna and Kanye.
Yeah.
And then all the people on Twitter are like, who's this guy I've never heard of? Paul McCartney.
Who's that?
Like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you make a Twitter statement like that when you could just Google, hey, who is Paul McCartney? Oh, whoa, okay.
Is that Jesse McCartney? Or wait, who is that?
I mean, there's good points to fame and there's bad points. I'm here because of the music and I love what I do. But if I could do this and not be famous, I would.
If I could do this and not be famous, I would. Some would say that's why Marshmello wears a mask.
True, and I've heard that about a lot of people. Like, you got your luchador wrestlers, or your DJs with the get up like
the
that.
helmet gimmicks, yeah.
Or I hear that also about YouTube creators. Like, there's a lot of these guys who just do straight voiceover or behind like a animated caricature themselves.
Right.
And that way, if they ever say anything or just want to have a public life, well, this is what I voice his character, but I don't have to tell you what character I voice.
Exactly.
But it gets millions of views under this pseudonym.
Yep. It's almost like that one channel that you showed me, the Shadows guy.
Oh, Todd in the Shadows.
Yeah, and I don't know if because he would always kind of keep it just hoodie. You can't really, to me, like that's just crazy, man, for her to say that, because you think everybody ever wants to be famous. Like, I know people to this day that say, I just want to be famous. And I'll ask them, I'll say, well, what do you want to be famous for? And they usually don't have an answer for that. I just want to be famous.
Exactly. And you got to get them coming into the studio there too. And you see them hungry and they want that song played. They want to have that TikTok follow, and they want people to care.
Yeah.
And sometimes caring, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Absolutely not. No.
As we found out today with Britney Spears. Poor Britney.
And look, Joe, I don't mean to cut you off, right? But I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not really even qualified to talk about this stuff. But what we wanted to do today was to, take the insight and the information that's available out there to the public and present it to you in a way that could give you kind of a better understanding and maybe a better appreciation of what a pop star like Britney Spears has dealt with her entire career.
Yeah, you watch that documentary and it's like I guess sometimes it's easy to look at it like, man, it's a tragedy and it's just a nightmare to be in this situation, which it is. So then you kind of like, when a bad thing happens, you forget all the good stuff and like why she became as big as she did and why people were so devoted to her. Like, I see these people online and they'll go into all the trials. They're investigating everything. They're out there picketing. And you're like, well, why?
You know what? To me, as great as it is to have such a giant support system for Britney Spears, I think even some of that support system would admit that some of those people are in it for themselves. It's hard for me to really believe, and again, this is not me addressing the entire Free Britney movement. You know, this is like, people have podcasts that are like dedicated to this. People have like TikTok accounts and Instagram accounts that are dedicated to this. But you have to question sometimes, is that all coming from a genuine, heartfelt place, or is that coming from a selfish place? And I think that is a question that needs to be asked. And somebody might even ask that about what we're trying to accomplish today.
I think the overall cause, and when you look into it, it's, yeah, if I'm looking at it at the surface level of what everything that's been presented, absolutely. This girl, if she's well enough to perform in Vegas and do all this stuff, then she's well enough to make her own decisions, as bad as they could possibly turn out.
Yeah.
That period where they were turning out bad. I guess at this point, let her fail if she wants to fail, or she could obviously succeed. She has all the tools. I mean,
right.
This isn't somebody I looked at and thought there was something off from the beginning. So it kind of makes me wonder when things really started going wrong.
Dude, you know what? I really don't know. And again, I mean, we don't have all the facts. We don't have all the insight. We don't have relationships with Britney or her camp, her team, any of that stuff. This is just,
I mean, we hung out with Kevin Federline one night. Is that a
yes.
relationship?
No, it's not. But that's true. I think what I'm trying to say is, given, you know, there's always two sides to every story, and we just kind of wanted to explore the Britney side of things and remember what made Britney such a just exciting, like revolutionary, just larger than life pop star, and kind of, you know, go back in time and show you why we all fell for her in the beginning in the first place.
And if you liked this video, you know what you do? You like, comment, subscribe, name your favorite Britney song, share it with fellow people that also want to free Britney. And, you know, I think this is a good instructional video for people who don't quite know why they should care. This is what they should watch here.